Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once more to another lovely light here of the Overwatch World Cup tryouts. We've had a busy week last week, and it's going to be busy this one as well. And we're starting on this lovely evening over in Argentina. And Dex, obviously, with our time we've managed to spend down here in South America, there's quite a number of Argentinian players that we've gotten the distinction and I'll say honor of knowing over these last several months. Seeing them compete at the highest level, it has been truly entertaining, and now we'll be able to see some of them fight here tonight to represent their home country.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun, especially when you look at the list of the players who are trying out here tonight. 18 in total. Still a lot, especially for Argentina, and a lot of them are, all these 18 are really, really good players. You compare that, though, to something like Brazil, who just announced their lineup for players trying out, and it's a lot less, but it's still a very, very tough decision for these coaches and the staff who have to build this team up here. And granted, Hunter, I touched on it during the Chile tryouts. There's probably a good chance that the coaches and staff already kind of knows what 7 they want to go with, but there's still these tryouts here to see if they can find maybe someone who they didn't necessarily expect, or someone who maybe they were kind of iffy on, who has a couple good performances here throughout the tryout. You don't know, they might be in. But there are a lot of good names across this, and I think one that I want to just talk about briefly is a tank that I think both me and you very much like. And myself, I call the best tank in South America, in the entire region, at least through face it play, with Tizzy. DM, though, is also on this tank, also trying out for tank. Another great tank, and at times really able to match and beat Tizzy in some of their matchups. So again, the tank line is going to be very fun to watch throughout the night. But Hunter, there is one name I think a lot of people outside of South America would definitely know that's trying out for Team Argentina here.
Yeah, 100%, and their name would be Lap. Lep obviously currently playing for Disguised going into the season of OWCS. Obviously played some other big teams all the way back in Overwatch League with the Houston Outlaws and the NYXL. Definitely a ton of pedigree, ton of experience over this time. And up to this point in his career, has never played in a World Cup. Not for the USA, not for Argentina. So that is going to be really interesting going today and seeing what happens. Because remember, despite what you've done in the past, it is still anybody's game going into these tryouts and see what you can pull off and what you can do. And it should be really fascinating to see. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually going to pull up who's playing today really quick. I'm just making sure not to throw everybody's battle tag into there, because that might be, a slight issue.
Good plan. Good plan. Yeah, but like I said, 18 players trying out. You have 4 tanks, 3 hit scans, 5 flex DPS, which is going to be something really fun to see throughout the night, 3 main supports, and 3 flex supports. So honestly, that means there should be a decent amount of moving around, players coming in and out, especially on that flex support and tank role, where basically you should be seeing probably a different tank, at least one different tank every map. So that should be really fun throughout the night. I think both me and you kind of talked about it's going to be really fun to see that flex DPS role kind of be played out here, because there's 5, a lot of fight in that one, and especially with what me and you talked about when it came to Chile. Granted, different country, but what 2 roles do you take an extra player on? Only with having that 7 rostered limit here, you're gonna leave one role on their own, saying, hey, either the tank role, the DPS role, the support role is only gonna have the either 1 or 2 that is less, or that you can have for that role.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm just Argentina specific, I think in general, a lot of teams are going to lead towards having 2 flex DPS ultimately. Having the 1 hit scan, I think is a smart idea, but having as much flexibility as possible in that DPS category is going to be extremely important, because it's a given. When you're a tank, you need to have a level of flexibility. You need to. And some teams will probably opt to have those 2 tank situations where it's like, hey, we know this person's really good at dive, this person's really good at brawl. It may be telegraphed, but we know they're 2 of the best at it in their respective roles. That's the route you're going to take. It's going to be the support, which I think is be the most contentious thing for a lot of these teams making their rosters. Mainly because, obviously, you look at a lot of the teams that exist, and while we do live in the world of Overwatch where a lot of teams are sticking to 5-man, 6-man rosters, it's normally not... A lot of teams don't tend to build any higher in that support category than they need to. That's just the way it has been for quite some time, and I think it's going to reflect on a lot of these teams as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's still with how quickly Overwatch is changing right now, especially with the fact that it has been confirmed that we're getting a new hero every season.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see how that changes it because those new heroes are not going to be just bad coming out of the gate. They're going to be pretty strong. And probably around the time where these actual, the competition is really getting going here for a lot of these teams, you will be seeing a decent amount of new heroes being played. But we do have the teams here. Looks like Nico, Yup, Nozo, Hades, and I didn't read the last. I think it was Achura. Is going to be one team there. The other one, I did not necessarily read all the names, but when we go in, we'll be able to read them very quickly. I wonder if it's gonna. I wonder if this could work. How Chile went, where the coaches staff is going to have certain comps, or they're just saying like, "Hey, we're going to treat this as if it's a normal game. Hero bans will be in place. You guys pick the comps you want to play." So it'd be really fun to see that. I think what Chile did with that was a really interesting way to be able to look at how teams played in certain comps, especially in mirroring each other.
Yeah, 100%. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of these teams are going to want to do, or more specifically, these coaches are going to want to see, is as much flexibility from these players as possible. See what they're good at, see what they can do, and that's just what you have to see as a coach ultimately. Uh, because obviously, like I've said it many times, and I'm going to say many times throughout the week as well,
Mm.
you're not going to get the best interpretation if you just go out there and they play, Zarya Vendetta for 6 maps straight. You're not going to get the best impression as to what these players can actually do. You want to see your DPS over on not just the Vendetta, you want to see them over on something like the Sojourn, the Tracer, freaking Reaper, whatever you feel like you want to see,
Yep.
you got to go with that. But we'll see as we're looking like we're getting already to go into our first map, and Kings Row is going to be the start. And now we can take a proper look at these rosters.
Yep, like I said, Nico, Yup, Nozo, Hades, and Achura on the blue side. For the red side, you have Novara, Oracle, Zavi, Vakabile, my bad, and Okuno there. It's going to be really fun to seeing throughout the night. And right now, you already see a little bit of difference in compositions here. Domina getting played a little bit more recently. I mean, we saw it really start to pick up towards the end of Chile, looks like, and especially how I've been playing today, a lot of Domina is being played. However, right now, because Red Team is in the attacker spawn, they have some moments here to really mess around, tease us with some picks, but we can definitely look at the blue squad here. Yup and Nozo, I feel like Genji. We don't see Genji that often anymore because Vendetta has kind of taken that spot. And even then, you still have Tracer, who I feel like a lot of players like to kind of lean towards a little bit more than the Genji. But Nozo, I mean, hey, if you're coming out of the gate on the Genji, you're maybe a little bit more confident in that than the Vendetta, than the Tracer, especially with this composition with that Domina. Being able to kind of go in there, dash in, and clean up a lot of picks will go a long way. But outside that, you see just the normal kind of support line right now, the support line meta right now with that Lucy Kiri for both sides.
Yeah, and it's not shocking. I mean, Lucy Curry feel like it's kind of been the thing to run for quite some time, and I think it's going to stay that way unless something happens within the meta. Obviously, we'll see flexibility throughout the night, but this is honestly one of the comps you need to see more than anything else for your support players. But hey, we're getting ready to head into the first map of the night. It is going to be the Rhine versus the Domina. The Domina has to play very carefully because that Rhine, I know we're in 2026, but they can still do a lot if that Domina gets exposed.
Oh, it can absolutely do a lot here, but at the same time, the Domina is actually able to get a lot of shield regen off of just the shield from the Ryan here pretty quickly, and you already see the push coming in there and stunning 3. Nico already gonna be able to find 1 right there, and almost then, that should end this fight here, but you still have Red Team pushing straight through.
Yeah, you want to try to find somebody in the situation, and you're going to get Nozo there near the tail end right there. And in fact, Yup goes down as well, so Oracle managed to help get rid of 1. They may be taken out, but now you've lost a number of people that need to hurry and get back, and you're going to have to see Akira go back there and speed him back.
Yeah, because they're gonna be safe here because Navarra and Oracle haven't respawned back in yet, so they should be able to get them back here. But again, a little bit of a good fight there by both sides. I just think the Domina is able to kind of control space a little bit better than surprising the Ryan, even though Domina is described as a pure poke tank here. But you already see Red Team coming right back in, and I think right now you're really looking for Zavi to be able to just dive in that backline somewhere and just be able to disrupt them a little bit as they go through hotel lobby yet again.
Yeah, 100% is. We'll take a quick moment here. Nope, you're watching me not buffering. It is just the client. So just take a quick second. When we come back, this fight might already be done and over with. But yeah, I mean, you saw Oracle get a couple of really good shots there to get that first fight going and put them in a position where it was nearly winnable. Obviously, hoping to do the same thing here, as we're gonna hopefully find out here pretty shortly. Deck says, I like the fact they're rotating through Hotel though, because it's gonna be hard to take people off that high ground, and the only person who can really get there is Zabi, who obviously on that Vendetta can do a lot of work, but it's gonna take more than just taking one and trying to clear the high ground.
I mean, Vaca can also go through there as well on that Lucio, but you don't normally want your Lucio to be the one that's inting into the back line a lot of times and disrupting high ground, because it's not the smartest move, surprisingly, there. But I mean, it's gonna be very difficult for the. I think it's gonna be difficult for Zabi to really find a lot of value being able to get into that back line, just because you don't have that Zarya with you to be able to really help you out. You're really banking on Okuno being able to get some healing to you. Maybe Vaca's following you in as just you being a little bit of a distraction, but still waiting for it to unbuffer here. I mean, whenever it unbuffers, we could easily be maybe either done with this first point or and red team capping it.
Yeah, at this rate, potentially done with Kings Row as well. We'll obviously have to see. I'm just gonna bring back to us for a second here because this might be a quick moment. Obviously we don't know what it is we're gonna come back to. But it is gonna be nice to see what these players can do, because I think already in that first fight we got a pretty good interpretation. I think Oracle again brought their team back from a situation where it felt like it was just they were completely done out the gate to, okay, maybe it's winnable. Maybe we can put ourselves in a position where we can take a quick fight on the next one and go through with that. But Nico also with really good survivability. I know it's the Domina. The Domina is in a strong place right now, but you still have to mind yourself with that Rhine, because even though you get all that shield regeneration, that Rhine pins you once into a corner. There is nothing that's saving you on that squad.
Yeah, there's nothing that's saving you. I mean, you'll be able to survive it if you're at full health when you get pinned. And if you have your abilities right after, you might quickly be able to rebuild some of your shields there. But if the red team coordinates it when they get that charge, if it happens, you need to be taking care of the Domina, because Domina can quickly regen a lot of those shields very, very quickly here. So looks like they're trying to fix the problem with the clean feed. Hopefully they are able to get that up here and soon, because we really do want to show off this Argentinian team. I think both me and you, Hunter, believe that this is a team that is probably being overlooked by some of the other countries' teams so far from what we've seen, even though there've just been tryouts and some of the show matches as well. I think Argentina might really end up being a dark horse in this region, especially when it comes to those wild card play-in rounds. I think they have some incredible talent in this country.
No, I 100% think they do as well. And to be fair, with the time we've been able to see them over this short period of time, I think they've done really good to represent themselves. I mean, again, you look back at the way back at the Copa Americana, they ended up coming third place overall. It's a smaller tournament at the end of the day, but they're still able to push a team like Chile to the absolute limit, which, again, we saw these Chile players over the last weekend, and they look phenomenal. They ended up beating down, honestly, Panama 4-0 in their show match, and I think they pushed Costa Rica harder than we've seen any team push them before. A Costa Rica team, which, by the way, from everyone we're seeing right now, is, in terms of strength, a heavy favorite for us right now, just because of how well they performed in all the show matches they've been in so far.
Yeah. I think they've only dropped 2 maps so far in show matches, one to Puerto Rico and the one that we did cover on Saturday, and then I believe another one too. I believe it was Argentina who they dropped actually their first map to here. So again, I think the talent is here. You might also at some point at night, if you were watching Mayan Hunter streams of Chile's tryouts, you might recognize the name here in Argentina as well. We'll talk about that though when that player does come in, if they do. So I'll just leave it at that. But right now, they paused it.
So yeah.
Oh, wait. So point one was capped.
All right. Evasive maneuvers. Turn on Overwatch.
Okay.
Evasive maneuvers. So we're gonna go back to doing things how it's normally done. So we're gonna take a quick second, set this up real quick. We don't have to go to a break or anything. This will be a very quick thing once we're in lobby.
Yep. Thank you everyone who stuck with us so far through this.
Yes.
This is a not normal situation for us, but I'll say this: everyone at Grupo Senju has been very helpful in making sure we have been able to show off a lot of these tryouts and a lot of the ones that are to come throughout the remainder of the week and the weeks to come as well. So they're going to quickly try to get us into the lobby so that we can be able to show off these teams or this country and their players.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously we'll see in a second as we'll obviously see in a second as hopefully get the invites here shortly. And all we can do right now is wait until the thing. Obviously we know they'll be paused for the moment, so just giving you the quick update of how things have gone. We're currently about halfway through that push on second point right now. About 3 minutes left on the clock. We did see the blue side for Argentina used a couple of ultimates, Dex. I think that's pretty fair to say. 4 ultimates. Yes. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. Obviously, there's a bit more discrepancy as you see they're coming in with a sound barrier. They're gonna have the sundering blade as well. Battle tag time. Trying to give away my personal information. Let's go. I really should just add Senju at this point. Make life really easy. But it'd be fascinating to see. Let's take note that the comments don't look all that different, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Nozomi was originally over on the Genji. I genuinely... Okay. Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, no, I think they're doing quite fine. I think that kind of as yeah, they're getting ready to be good here soon. As hopefully we're heading into the lobby shortly to get this one back underway. Because obviously we're very excited to be able to see these players perform. Obviously, quite a few of them. Again, like I said before, we've gotten the opportunity to be able to watch over the last several months, mainly through Faceit League. There's a couple of Argentina heavy teams down there with some of these players representing. One person I am optimistic to see is the word I'll use is Saxon Hill, who we are used to seeing normally be a big Junker Queen player for their squad, but is currently on that flex DPS role. So I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table in that sense. Yeah, no, 100%. It's going to be really fascinating to see here in a moment. Obviously, we have some of those other players that we have coming through as... Okay. We're just going to go back to the regular feed, which, by the way, I will say ahead of time, my feed is off by a little bit now because the way things have paused. So I will do what I can to catch up, Dex, but... I guess we should talk about what we see as... Actually, I'm not just fine. We'll bring the game back. So, Dex, we'll try to get things underway. Where you at right now, Mr. Tron? I'm not paused anymore. Yes. So, I'm going to talk really quick. I'm at 220 right now, and I'm going to talk as this fight goes along and help you catch up to speed on this one, because now we're at 215. We see a little bit of a trade-off between Yavi and Yup early on here, as obviously spawns going to be differing a little bit, as Yup going to take a hot minute to get back here. Now with 2:05 left on the clock, we'll see how this next fight goes in the form. Sound barrier is available for Achura going into this one, but also available for both sides at the end of the day, so it's going to be exciting because with 1:52 left on the clock here, ultimates are becoming plentiful for the red side. Alright, bet. Yeah, you bet. You know what? I'll do just that. Get into this one right here. Oh, I got the invite too. But obviously, we'll see where things go from here, as I'm going to keep talking and keep going at this. But this fight is pretty much already done and dusted, as it is, as we have the invite coming through, which means the chaos will quickly come to its natural end, as I'll be able to show y'all the actual game. Dex, take it from here, good sir.
Any German music you recommend?
Krankenwagen Grun! The best band of the 2030s!
Never heard of them.
What?
Dex.
They defined techno polka!
Did you forget to unmute your video, Ninja? Just double checking a little something something.
No, you know.
Alright. Well, I'll say Dex is 60 right now. I hear some stuff going through his thing right now,
Yep.
so hopefully we're good and ready to go. So Dex, we're probably
should be.
ready to go. We forget the last 10 minutes have happened.
Yep, again, welcome back, everyone. Red team able to complete the map with a minute 53. You do see Nico going over to the Reinhardt here as well. Novara, it looks like they had an incredible round last round on the Reinhardt to really help their team out here. And even Yup going over to the Cassie. I mean, they did start off on the Soj, I believe, last round, but now Oracle on the Soj.
Yeah, 100%, and we'll see what goes on from here. You see the deep pin here from Nico, who able to pull back there pretty quickly, and already blue side gonna start running down body after body. The support line is gone, and at this rate right here, if Navarra goes down, then you consider this one done and dusted, and that it will. You're hoping to clean things out. Navi is gonna be able to get a little bit of care, but that point is going to be capped in quick succession.
Yeah, one thing we didn't really talk about here because we were quickly getting back into it, Okuno coming out here on the Baptiste instead of the Kiriko. A little bit of an interesting idea. I like the burst healing from them. Again, they were doing it on the attacking side as well. Worked out very well from there, so why not do it on the defensive side? Especially because I always look at Bap as a little bit better on the defensive side. But now you have to be able to really get a lot of that burst healing in. You already see them use their ability that gives a big burst of healing. Oracle takes out Yep to get everything started.
Yeah, and that fight's going to be done really quickly. You're trying to find a little bit of cleanups coming through, but everyone else should be able to remain fine. Big cut down over onto Hades, who's going to get out here. But now, interesting sense of ult's going to be online here, and it's going to be interesting who's going to pull the trigger first. You'd imagine it's probably Hades.
I would actually not be surprised if it's Okuno. The moment they see that blue team kind of peek around the corner, immediately hit that damage. But Yep, finding Baka out there, you might now just see him hold on to this ultimate. Wait for the next fight, because unless you really think you can win it,
Okay. Honestly, you're fine with that. The overclock's now out.
Whew.
You have to take the big reset, but now you're coming to this fight with 4 ultimates. Overclock's not an issue anymore. It's at this point where if you want to just go up with aggression with one of the spurt ultimates, nothing's completely stopping you.
Yeah, nothing at all here. I mean, if you're blue team, this is a fight where you really have to engage with an ultimate. Like you said, you have both support ults ready to go, not far away from a blade. You really want to go fast, and that's exactly what we're going to start off with here with the Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, 100% going to go in deep on this one, Nozomi. But she's going to, not get any care, actually. He's going to go down. Shatter came out, it caught onto a couple of people. Mortality Field is there, but it's going to be flexible. Nico gets rid of 3, and Yup, with the big finish, as they're going to get a ton of progress off of this, but they use everything for it. Oh, boy.
Again, they like to ult up into these fights. Another fight where they had 4 ultimates in there. But hey, they win it. They have the blade ready to go, but now they're in a little bit of a rough spot here in this fight. They need to really win it early or find a pick early on here. You can look over at Red Team. Ant Matrix beat, Thundering Blade, and then the Shatter. Wow, I can't speak.
Yeah, hey, you know, it's all good. There's a lot. You're going to be able to use that Ant Matrix first, and it's going to give you a little bit of space, but you still have the Sundering Blade. You can't really pair it together or anything like you would with something like a Zarya or a Sigma for that matter, but it's still going to be really good to buy you that space when they find it available. As Blade going to be used to your beat, used immediately in response, so Nozomi just needs to focus on being able to stay alive. Is doing that for the time being, but still Nico suffering, eventually going to fall over without the tank. This fight should dilute very quickly.
it should. And right now, Aturo just trying to find a way out at the moment. And it looks like they're going to be able to do that, get back to the safety of their team. And not the fight that you were really hoping for right there if you're blue team. Yeah, you use your only ultimate, but you were probably hoping to at least get one more ultimate out from the other side, because red team's still going to have 3 really good ultimates going into this fight. Novara, Shatter, you have to be ready for that at any moment right now if you're blue team. So Nico has to be watching for it, as Zavi already getting set up on the high ground and popping the Sundering Blade from up there.
Yeah, once get somebody here, we'll get Nico really low as a result, trying to cut them down. Yup is separated as well, as we see a quick pause coming through here, but we do know that there is a bit of a trade happening as of right now, so we'll see where that goes from this point on.
Yep, don't know what the reason for the pause just yet is. Looks like it's having a look. My feeling is, yeah, looks like we're getting R, so probably either a slight disconnect, someone's mouse died, someone's headset died. Pretty normal reason for it, something that is going really fast. IKEA is trying to get the R's ready to go here, because it doesn't look like any of the players have disconnected. It looks like maybe it was just because a lot more spectators were coming into the lobby, so they were just trying to pause it there so that everyone who's broadcasting this across the multiple language are going to be in the lobby from here on out, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a right idea. It's solid to keep things stable overall, and we'll get our R's all in place here as we're getting ready to head back into this one. I mean, Yup's gonna have the data go into this. Katsura isn't too far out, but already a red side is gonna be cleaning up a little bit more. Nico, though, that is a big, especially as they'll be able to stay alive for now.
And blue team actually committing into this fight here. I mean, if you can get rid of Novara, you have a free range at this point.
Yeah, but that Shatter is still there. Overclock him used to garner a little bit of space. We'll give Novara a little bit of extra care to stay alive, as you see blue just completely back out of their reset. But still, you're going to be able to swing with the Deadeye here soon. But that Shatter, you need to watch for.
You need to watch out for it, but Oracle just used their overclock and found really nothing. I mean, blue team did a good job just backing up. They didn't have the numbers to play with anyway, but now Deadeye out here from Yup going to be able to build some space, while Okuno on that high ground might be able to find something from the back line. Ooh.
Yeah, and that's a rough loss that early on in the fight. Consider Rush is still there. Novara is separated, does get the immortality field. Shatter comes out, doesn't get anybody though. Shatter thrown back, also not going to get a whole lot, but eventually the Beast can help them pull through here, as Nozumi good finishes. That's now 3 minutes on the clock, heading into third point. Again, another expensive fight, but to be fair, the cost was pretty equal overall.
Yeah, I mean, 4 ultimates used there by blue team in that fight really wasn't considered how it started off with the Deadeye, but you'll take it, especially when you look at the other side. The ult comic is not as bad as it was last time they did that ult dump. They're in actually a little bit of a better spot. It's going to be rough for the match time bank, especially with Nico almost getting taken out here early on, but they do have a potential here to really be able to cap this point and be able to complete the map.
Yep, and Javi close to being taken out there. Does manage to stay alive, though. Now, you're coming up towards the blade right here. The sound barrier could potentially be ready for it right now. Drive blades, even without sound barriers in response, don't get a ton of value in our Year of the Lord 2026, but still, you're going to need something to get you into this fight to try to close things out right here and now. But Amatrix going to be used very quickly as they pull the corner, and Nico is just completely separated. Reset going to come through here, and now that's going to burn even more time off this clock.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing is both the Ryans actually took the shield bash perk, which is, I mean, again, you don't see Ryan that often, so you don't necessarily know what the go-to is for perks, but it looks like both of them like to prefer to have that little bash to just kind of get in there a little bit further. But Ambush used there by Akuna, I thought was a good idea. It worked out well. Now Deadeye from Yup just trying to find anyone again. One pick would be huge, but you're buying some space right now. They found the one pick!
Yeah, there was just so much damage built up over that time, and now you see the investment over there from Oracle. Fortunately, it's not going to work out. Yup has got rid of another. Kill 4 on the fight. And now, Navarre going to try to make it back, but it is no use. Both teams going to finish with more than a minute on the clock. Offensively, a great performance to get all these players started.
Yeah, I mean, both teams showing a lot of fight back there. Again, looks like actually they're just going to end the map right there. Yeah. But hey, good showing there by both red and blue team. Would have loved them been able to look at the stats there, because I think you definitely saw Yep really came into a little bit of their own there towards the end of that map. Able to find one with Deadeye 2 straight times, which really you should not be able to do, but they were doing a really great job of it there. Nozu, I wish we saw the blade there at the end, but hey, when Deadeye finds the one and Yep just kind of goes off, it really worked out well for them. I mean, but I would have loved to see how Red Team finished that map. It seemed like Blue Team was in the habit of kind of just dumping ults in the fight, which isn't the smartest thing, but hey, it looks like it ended up working out for them in the end. But right now, we'll figure out what map number 2 is, what players are coming in and out. Especially with the lobby being full, it might be a little bit longer than what it has been the past couple days for getting these players in and out.
Yeah, potentially so, as you kind of have to just take one out, add the new person in, so on and so forth. So we'll see what the situation is here very shortly. But again, given the situation at hand and what we are kind of dealing with, I'll show like the rosters at hand that we have here for it tonight. Remember, some of these categories not going to have as many people, so especially the support category, you're more going to see people switching sides more than being taken in and out a whole lot. There's only 3 on for each position right now. Hit scans obviously in that category, but you're going to see these flex DPS and these tanks really move around a lot as well, because while we see Navarra and Nico to get things started, Diem and Tizzy obviously going to come in a little bit later to show what they can do. So you're going to see plenty of combinations of different tanks going up against each other, seeing how they do against one another. The one thing I will add, because this is information unknown to you or I, we don't know when and if the tryouts extend beyond this day right here, because obviously you see these nations with these big groups of tryouts have to extend themselves to a whole weekend. Heck, Brazil is extending over 3 entire weekends to do their process. But to be fair, with how big their pool is, that's understandable.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. There's some teams right now that are, I think, might be quickly going through tryouts because they want to have that team set in stone so they can start doing these show matches with their core 7. But I still think it's always going to be smart for even those teams that are kind of completing tryouts, maybe like Chile, to still have one, 2, or even 3 players they kind of have just saying like sitting on the side saying like, hey, you're going to be in for this show match a little bit, just so that you still have some options. Especially if you never know what might happen in a year. A player might just become just interested in Overwatch, kind of back away for a little bit. So you want to always have a good roster ready to go. And I mean, much like here in Argentina, a lot of players trying out. Again, you could have a 7 be named very quickly, but still have maybe 4 or 5 players outside that 7 that are still regularly practicing with the team, regularly scrimming with the team, so that if something happens, they will be able to kind of slot right in very easily.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I like to do is kind of compare, because obviously it's been 3 years since the World Cup back in 2023. I believe the only 2 players that were previously in that team that are competing here today is Oracle and Okuno are the only 2 in this situation right here. Which, to be fair, I feel like this has been the situation for a lot of these teams as well. Is a lot of them have kind of, obviously it's a whole new era of Overwatch. That's kind of how it's been. But it's really exciting to see because we have all these newer faces coming in that haven't gotten to represent obviously their home yet, and a bunch of them are going to get the opportunity now. It's going to be close to a brand new team regardless of how things go. So obviously it's extremely excited. And it's just nice to see these players coming out representing their country like this. At the end of the day, there's no other better way to put that, because it's exciting for a very, very blatant and very simple reason.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the World Cup was always one that I think a lot of people's favorite events outside of the actual pro scene, because it showed off more players than maybe what the pro scene shows a lot of times, and that it is a big excitement for a lot of these regions, a lot of these countries that maybe don't get enough attention thrown on them here. Looks like though, still trying to maybe get some players in the lobby, make those subs. We do know that XG7 will be coming in for next map. Outside that, though, it looks like they're still trying to get some players in the lobby. It looks like they're actually trying to change the lobby around so that they can get all those players into the lobby as well as all the spectators right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we'll obviously see that being taken care of here pretty shortly. Obviously, you want to try to get in as many maps as you possibly can with all these players here, because even with it being a smaller group than maybe we've seen over the course of the last couple weeks, it's still important to give them all as many opportunities as possible to do so. I mean, like when I did Turkey this last weekend, I mean, they're running double blocks. There's some players that were doing, 5 or 6 maps within that day and had the opportunity to kind of show what they had. Now, obviously, it was a big group of players, so makes sense. But at the end of the day, not just do the coaches want to see that, but obviously we want to see that too. We want to see these players come in as much as possible, and I want to be like, maybe I don't know particularly who this player is, but I want to be obviously done with things tonight and say like, okay, I like this player. I like what they can do. I want to see more of them, whether it is for the World Cup, maybe it's further down the line for things like Andromeda, Face It League, whatever have you may. It's going to be exciting to see a lot of these faces and see what everybody can do today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like me and you already talked about here, Hunter, we recognize a couple of these players already. But there are new faces to us all in the lobby here, and that is something that's really exciting to be able to show them off, a little bit more than maybe what they have been in the past. But looks like we do know what our second map of the night will be. We'll be going to the push map of Runasapi, and again, it's gonna be really interesting to see. Looks like we're getting R's from both teams, so we should be going in. The only change will be XG7 coming in on the flex DPS role for that red team. And who did they take out? Can I quickly see that?
Yeah, so that was
Whoever
so
was
it was Javi who was being taken out.
Yeah.
So coming in for them in that instance, obviously excited to see that is Alakun, aka of course XG7. We'll obviously do both just so we know each one, but either way we're getting ready to head into our second map of the evening. And to be fair, again, I'm a massive Runasapi enjoyer at the end of the day. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful map. And we've seen everything under the sun happen on this map right here. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it feels like we've seen every possible outcome close and one-sided here.
Every possible outcome. I feel like we've all seen every possible composition as well. This has really become the all-rounder map for the push maps, really. You look at a map like Esperanza, I feel like it's more geared towards dive. Yeah, I can play everything, but dive definitely has its kind of footprint there. Coliseo, I feel like, yeah, dive could play there as well, but I feel like brawl most of the time is the name of the game there. New Queen Street, again, it's an all-rounder, but you don't see it played that often. But I really do think Runasapi, you could play any composition here and really make it work. Yeah, there's high grounds that really do disrupt a lot of stuff at some points in the map, but a lot of times you just see teams kind of say, hey, we'll take a fight. We're okay with that here. But coming out of the gate right now, looks like blue team with Nico staying in, going to be at least showing us Drunk Queen for the moment. However, 90 seconds before the gate even opens, so a lot of time for them to make some swaps here. You look at the blue team's support line, though. Very, very quick support line there. Lucio and Juno, speed ring and speed boost there could be very fun to see. Looks like they want to be in your face, especially with the Jungle Queen. That would be a very fun play style to see. Now, as we see the red team kind of get focused on in here and at least are teasing us with picks, Wrecking Ball coming out. I think, honestly, Hunter, this might be the best map for Wrecking Ball when it comes to push. I spoke too soon. Domina might be coming out for them here instead. And outside that, though, you have XG7 coming in here, playing that Genji again. It seems like there's a lot of Genji players here in Argentina, because you still have unless it's banned out, Vendetta is there. But again, some players, it looks like, prefer sticking with the Cyber Ninja so far.
Yeah, and I don't mind. It's a very solid flex DPS that you need to be able to play at the end of the day, because it's one of those characters which, while strong in its own right, is not as rewarding as it used to be. You still need to be very careful how you use all of your cooldowns, especially that ultimate, which you can't just nakedly throw it into a fight 9 times out of 10. It's rough. So it's a really good thing to see here, as we'll see Nozumi out on the Tracer this time around.
Yeah, and I think that's going to help them out a little bit more here, especially with the Domina, just being able to get behind the shield and find a little bit more value here. You're already trying to get on this off angle right now, but again, Achura not afraid to get aggressive.
Yeah, and aggressive is definitely the name of the game here. Big cleanup already as the lesser members of that red side, again, just kind of have to take their reset. XG7 tries to get out. Doesn't happen, though, so blue side going to get this thing rolling really quickly. And that speed in a lot of these angles are going to become a factor immediately.
Yeah, again, double speed. You don't see that often anymore, but this is a competition right now that makes it very, very scary. However, a lot of it can really be just toned down to, can we shut down Nico? Because without that double speed, Nico kind of is a little bit of a sitting duck. Has to use the shout, but look, double speed right there, getting them out, getting them back to safety. However, you look at the other side, you're really looking for Novara here to be able to take space and just play it here. But Nico, on that Queen, can be able to kind of say, yeah, you threw up your shield. I have an axe and can walk straight through it.
Yeah, you just have to be a little careful because like right there, you can get pushed back and suddenly you might get taken out of that range of your X right there to kind of get all that overheal to give you a chance to get in with that bleed. You see that aggression being thrown in, and Okuno is just deleted on the spot, and Blue, he's going to proceed forward. We'll be able to get the checkpoint here in very quick fashion as Novara, unfortunately, reset at XG7, trying to get out of there alive, might end up getting tracked down and will late into the fight.
I mean, a great start for the blue team here. Really, a great start. No one's died just yet. I think the speed has really been able to help them get in and out of fights. Achura, still playing a very aggressive Lucio here so far, has been close to death on multiple occasions. But, I mean, again, I think you have to give Hades a lot of credit, and just their whole play on the Lucio being able to get them out of tough spaces. But you already see Nico just trying to take the high ground pressure away from them, force them out into this fight.
100% pulse bomb thrown out there. It's not going to get any sticks, unfortunately, but now you have coming in with this overclock here in a moment. It's ready to go. Question is when the right time to pull that trigger is, as they're going to get intercepted right there. Okuno is going to get taken out, but a little bit of revenge here early on, but Nico more than happy to start running down everybody incredibly low. Nico gets rid of 2. This bot's going to go far beyond that 100-meter marker, and now you are wielding some very dangerous tools in those ultimates.
Yeah, blue team can go really fast here. Pop the beat, go rampage, and try to find a team fight victory here before you see all these other ultimates come on, especially Baka with that beat and Okuno with the Kitsune Rush. However, you see him fall back instead, so you're going to see a lot of these ultimates come out. Panopticon is ready for Navara, but I feel like a lot of teams, especially in this kind of setting, know what you need to do to really make sure that ultimate finds 0 value.
Yep, overclock and B going through here. They're going to try to make a ton of space early on, and XG7 going to be caught out here early. The B have to use in exchange right here, but they are more than happy to throw everything into this fight. The Panopticon comes out, but no one did as a result. You saw the Clint's come through too. Going to go down on the spot. Yep, more than happy to clean them up here. XG7 again, last one alive, going to be able to go back for the spawn and potentially needs to be the touch here.
They're going to need to be the touch. They're going to need to buy some time as well, because Oracle has Deadeye ready to go, which could really help him out here, especially if the Blade comes out with XG7, being able to just buy some time. Novara going over to the Doomfist here just to help out. Deadeye out now, but Novara not here.
Yeah, and now this Blade needs to be big. Unfortunately, only going to get 1. You see Oracle still kind of hanging around right now. Been known to click those heads thus far here today, but the rest of the team is being run over. They're being separated. Okuno trying to hang around on the point. Eventually going to get deleted, but again, the trades are still coming through. This is becoming more and more of a winnable situation, and XG7 over on the legs going to help them push through this one.
And Hades quickly going to be taken care of there. I thought that might be a moment where you see a little bit of a stagger come out for them, but no, Hades is going to be able to get forward spawns no matter what. Nozu does have pulse bomb here, but in this fight, it doesn't necessarily matter. Novara is just going to go charging and try to buy some space as, yep, is already poked up a little bit too far, in my opinion, but can be able to safely fall back. Nico now up there, but yep, oh my goodness, yep.
Yeah, a little too far forward, and now Pulse Bomb ready, thrown into the ether. Unfortunately, not going to get anything, but it's going to force them to back out a little bit. Forward spawns, obviously, never gotten taken care of, so still very much in the factor as Hades going to get rid of Okuno, and now Navara is just really separated from the rest of the squad. Is going to try to pin to get back over there, is barely hanging on right now with the team dying around them. I think unlikely to get out of here alive as this bot meters away from pushing through, and it is desperation touches coming online.
They're not even gonna get out there in time. They weren't even gonna get out there in time. This was a masterclass from this blue team. It really was. Wow, sends it back to the lobby really quickly there, but it was a really good performance there by the blue team. That double speed comp I talked about, it's one that you have to really be ready for, because we saw it there multiple times. Nico got out of some sticky situations because Hades and Achura really helped them. Achura, I talked about it multiple times as well. They seem to be playing this a very aggressive play style, was never punished as well. The one time they died, I mean, it was in the midst of a team fight where the red team had to win, and they really only won that one team fight there. I mean, that blue team got off to such a good start. Red team, they needed to make the swaps a little bit quicker there and make some changes a little bit quicker as well. But I mean, again, it's a tryout for a reason. Sometimes you're going to have players really just stick on something because they believe it will work out for them in the end. Granted, you were able to get through one team fight before eventually it ended up not going their way. But looks like we're going to see a whole new batch of players coming in here, as a lot of players have a... Why is every player leaving the lobby? That's concerning.
Yeah, no, everyone's getting removed from the lobby. So they're going to... I think their way of doing it is just... clearing it out and then inviting all 10 that are going to be coming into this one back in. That seems to be like the most likely outcome right here. So, well, obviously, we'll see who comes in. I think, again, there's only so many players, so it's impossible, I think, to have a full different 10 in this situation. So, we'll see who the invites are coming in. But we do see one name currently in there that obviously we knew we were going to see at some point tonight. Tizzy. Obviously, Dilpado's tank has had a ton of success right now. Back-to-back champions of South America. Face It League right now. Has had a lot of success, obviously, for the time we've been able to witness their climb up. So it's gonna be a good opportunity to see them represent their country here today for the tryouts. Because again, much like many of the other players here today, they have not represented Team Argentina before.
Yeah. Yep, it's going to be staying in for map 3. It looks like Saxon Hale. We talked about them a little bit earlier. We mostly know them as a tank player, but they are actually trying out as a flex DPS player here for Argentina, and they're going to be coming in for their first map. Alep also coming in for their first map as well. Again, touched on Lep a little bit earlier. Plays right now for DSG or Disguise in OWCS, one of the partner teams in NA OWCS. So again, and like you said, Hunter, first time they're also playing for their country, as in the past couple World Cups, they did not attempt to. They either did not attempt to try or they did not make the teams.
Yeah, because around the time that the World Cup was happening, I believe they were still playing a part of the NYXL during that 2023 season. But it's going to be really fascinating to see what the case is going to be going forward. Obviously, Lep, renowned player at this stage of the game, has played on, if you name a team, they've probably played on that team before. That's
31 teams.
Yeah, lots, and that's only counting the ones that are on Wikipedia as well. There's probably more beyond that realm as well, so it's going to be interesting to see. We do see that at least Oracle and Hades are coming back in over on the red side of things, and Achura as well, but we see DM and Soji coming in for the first time here today.
Yeah, DM, I think, was another tank me and you were kind of excited to see. We saw them a lot throughout this last season of South American Face It, where, I mean, they looked really good. Maybe one of the better tanks throughout the entire season there, but just ended up winning it in the end. Loft Tower also coming in. First time I believe we're seeing them here. So a lot of new faces, and I believe only five returning faces of, Oracle, Hades, Achura. Actually, no, 4. My bad. Can't count. So 6 new players coming in, 4 returning players. Again, we're going to be seeing a lot of faces throughout the night. Only 18 players trying out, so you will see some overlap here and there. But this is a big map for a lot of the players getting their first map in here for these tryouts.
Yeah, and obviously you want to get off to a good of a start possible. And you're going to see a lot of these players kind of also like move around with different people. That's already the case with like Hades, Oracle, Achura, as they're going to be with 2 new people into this tryout again with Soji and DM, which is going to be fascinating to see. I'm excited to see what it's like for Tizzy and Lep to work together, because again, without the associated nation of Argentina, you never like see these 2 players ever playing with each other. So it's gonna be really fascinating to see in the situation how that works out. But obviously, going to this one, I'm excited to see all 10 people in here. It's gonna be excited to see Saxon Hale and that flex DPS for the first time, personally for us as well. I did do a little bit of research. They have flexed around in the past for some other teams in earlier seasons of South American Masters. We obviously know them very primarily as being a tank in recent times, specializing on that Junker Queen, but it's gonna be really fascinating to see on this one. And Junker Queen, not the most viable thing for the next map we're going into anyway, as Hollywood is gonna be our 3rd map of the evening.
I mean, you could definitely get Junker Queen to work here. You just need to really build around it. However, like you said, Hollywood could be our 3rd map of the night here. Again, maybe a map that's a little bit known for dive, especially on the first 2 points, but I always like to talk about how the first 2 points really dive heavy, dive strong. Once you get into that 3rd point push, though, it becomes a little bit different. Yes, you could still easily play dive, and a lot of teams do, but I feel like it really goes to being a better map for Brawl. I really do. The close quarters, I think, kind of lend itself to that, but you already see coming out of the gate, Tizzy going to be locking the D.Va on the defensive side. DM looks like they're going to be showing us another Domina here. And outside that, I feel like so far a lot of heroes you would expect to see, at least for the blue team. Staying with the hit scan. They've been doing really good on it throughout the night. Saxon Hale, you talked about, we've seen Malaz tank. They have flexed around in the past. Tracer might be their go-to when it comes to playing flex DPS, so it's going to be really fun to see that. Lep, though, unless they change here, because I believe they can do that outside of spawn while we wait for the game to actually get started here, going to be showing us our first jetpack cat. of these tryouts, and I think of a lot of the tryouts here, because I don't even think we saw it in Chile that much. And Loft Tower coming in, Kiriko, pretty standard right there. Other side that looks like they're finally starting to get a little bit more consistent with what you would want to actually see. DM on the Domina, Soji going over to the Ashe, Oracle on the Tracer, Hades, I would imagine probably would come out on the Kiriko here, and Achura. Again, we saw how aggressive they were last map on the Lucio. They're going to be coming back out on that Lucio again, and I expect them to be just as aggressive, but with DM on the Domina, they might be forced to at least slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to count on that separation a little bit, because we've seen a lot of the counterplay for the Domina has kind of come within that Diva. It's someone that, while they can't outright ignore a lot of that damage, at the end of the day, they are able to kind of burst through, eat a bunch of it, and is able to give them a better time. But we do see Lep is still going to be on the cat to start things out. So, obviously, we'll see how this works out. As you're going to see, Soji is going to probably try to take them out every opportunity they get.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't talk about it a lot here, but I consider Tizzy to be one of the best tanks in the South American region, but I believe they might be the best diva in the region here. So again, I'm looking for them to have a really good map this one here, especially being on the hero that I most know them and most associate them with here. But you already see Red Team just rotating up through high ground, but actually, it's just DM and Hades that went up there.
Yeah, and Lep takes one with them at the end of the day, and not a bad thing whatsoever. As you see the aggression right there is Yup. Gonna get the nice pin up, gonna take away a lot of that speed aspect right here. And now DM, I think, just needs to focus on kind of trying to hang around and stay alive, waiting to get the members back, as Akira is also gonna go over to the cat.
Yeah, I mean, maybe handshake agreement with the cat. Left now, flying right back in and flying right back out. But Soji off the Ashe, going over to the Cassie instead. I like it a little bit better, especially with how aggressively you're already seeing this blue team play. Soji, again, finding Yep out there. A great swap for them so far.
Yeah, fantastic. And now you try to regroup for more touch. It's just going to be Tizzy and Left hanging around. And while you could force another touch, the real question becomes, is it actually worth it? And the answer is quickly becoming no.
Yeah, you could force touches, but again, I feel like at the end of the day, unless you have ultimates to really back you up, it's not even worth it. And that's exactly what they do there. No ultimates outside, maybe Yep being able to build to that overclock, which they will have ready to go here pretty soon. But I like the smart play. Tizzy, though, I feel like this Diva is actually getting punished a lot by this Domina. They almost need to get out. Lep was actually trying to get them out, but they just didn't take the taxi. And again, Loft Tower being taken out by Soji. First time we're seeing them tonight, and they're already on a little bit of a tear here, Hunter.
Yeah, they 100% are. Again, working on that Cassie, looking good right now. Lep going to get the better of their Fika counterpart to get things going. But still, that cart is slowly trucking ahead here as Yup, another good shot here as the momentum is going to stop. Everyone else has to back out of here, but we're going to have an alt-plentiful fight coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, you could realistically see probably at least 4 ultimates coming out, maybe even more than that, 6, 7 potentially. Here, Tizzy, though, being set up on this high ground, being carried by the cat. Same thing, though, it's going to be for Soji, who's getting the high noon on the taxi, but won't be able to find anyone.
Oh, that is hilarious. Can't have anything, but you love to see it. Ultimately, you lose Oracle a little earlier on, so now you gotta wait for that. But you're still making little bits of progress here and there. Eventually, Tizzy is gonna try to find the separation onto DM. It's definitely there with that Kitsune rush out. Tizzy potentially having to bomb, and said going to get the cleanse will be able to stay alive. And with the double use here of the Kitsune rush, we'll see how that goes as Tizzy gets pulled out of the bomb. Is gonna almost remix on top of Hades right there, if not for the cleanse. Loft Power ends up going down. It is pure chaos as Lep gonna go for their own catnap. Unfortunately, going to be deleted as this card's gonna start making some good progress.
I mean, basically all the blue team's ultimates that are used in that fight were almost worthless. The bomb didn't necessarily find the value it was really looking for there, but it was a remacking tool. Loft Tower used the Kitsune rush, but then everyone went to the high ground, so it didn't find anything, and then the catnap just did not do anything there. And Soji again on another tear.
Jeez, that is rough this early on. You're gonna have 4.5 minutes going into this one. Maybe you can force a retouch, but there's just no reason to. Left. Gonna get booped out of that one. Plenty of time going forward, and Tizzy, unfortunately, giving up on the Diva, gonna match the Domina instead.
Yeah, again, right now, Domina's still very strong, and it's definitely been shown throughout the night here by a lot of the Argentinian tanks. And Tizzy, I think, definitely need to make the swap. The Diva was being punished by them a lot. Again, until that charge beam shot actually becomes that charge shot at the end, the beam can just go through the defense matrix here, so they need to make the swap here and now, especially going over to the final point. 4 minutes on the clock, but you look at Red Team, Panopticon ready to go, and I would not be surprised if they use it. Yeah, they use it right now.
Yep, overclock is ready though, and you're gonna see Achura getting taken out right here. Soji still has that Deadeye ready to go. Unfortunately, it's not gonna do a whole lot of anything as Hades gonna try to get out of there alive, desperately low. They're looking for all these big cleanups. Soji is literally 1 health. DM is gonna be the only survivor ultimately, as now blue side with some momentum back on the best. Yep, gets rid of Oracle.
But red team's done this now a couple times. They've lost 1 or 2, fallen back, regrouped, and came right back in and won the next fight pretty easily here. Saxon Hill, Pulse Bomb ready to go. Still their first ultimate. They've been holding onto it for a while, and really has had a little bit of a struggle to show up so far on this Tracer. Oracle gonna have their Pulse Bomb as well, but outside of that, really no ultimates outside of maybe Hades building up to that Kitsune Rush, which I would not be surprised the moment they get that Hunter, they use it immediately. This team has been very aggressive in the past, and that Kitsune Rush is only just gonna put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, no, 100%. Saxon Hill giving their all into the line over here. Oracle keeping them pretty much distracted this the entirety of the time. But now you're building up Kitsune Rush if you are Hades way ahead of Loft Tower right now. So you're going to have a big investment ready to go should you want it. Hades is obviously, I think, really thinking about it right now when the time is going to be here. And that time is right now. Saxon Hill, though, gets rid of Achura, so now you get rid of some of that extra support that you could have had. Everyone else from the blue side just going to back up Tizzy, making sure to stay alive as that Panopticon's going to be ready. But it looks like it's going to be pretty unnecessary for this fight right here as Tizzy trying to stay alive. Yup, hoping to find the finishes on this one right now. May have extended a little too far forward. Gets rid of Hades anyway. And with this being the case right now, Leb still has the sound barrier ready to go right here. Is going to let it loose as the aggression going to pick up in red is going to be forced to try to back out of here alive. DM lucky to be alive. Unfortunately, the luck has quickly run out.
Yeah, you need to find that pick right there if you're blue team. Hell, you need to find Oracle before they can get out as well. You need to force red team to completely fall back and regroup here, because without the beat now going in this next fight, I mean, you look at what red team's going to have. Overclock, their own beat, and now the Panopticon. Yeah, Tizzy has theirs, but there's really no beat on the other side to help them out. Loft Tower does have Kitsune Rush, so that's going to be one thing they could really use when that beat comes out, but it's going to have to be almost perfect timing here as Yup and Saxon Hill so far away from their own ultimates.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic to see in this situation. Obviously, the beat into the Kitsune Rush, you know, it depends how you feel about that, as Panopticon has come online for DM to get this fight started. Tizzy, their own is ready to go. Remember, beat is not ready. Tizzy fighting for their life as Panopticon going to be thrown out in their stead as Pulse Bomb thrown out. Oracle gets rid of their second of the fight. They clean up from these DPS, trying to come through. DM just needs to hang around as Oracle's trying to get more and more progress over on that point, trying to steal it from behind. But Tizzy's coming back over on that Doomfist to get this touch once more. Looks like they should be here in time, but still, it is Oracle on the hunt right now, trying to get body after body down, causing separation, and with Tizzy down, it feels like it is slowly but surely gonna go their way.
This Domino gets stronger and stronger as this map goes on, mostly because the path that the car has to go becomes more close quarters, and you see it, you saw it there at the end, just being able to use the push ability to just stun people into all the walls surrounding the point. It worked out very great for them there. A really good round for that red team after what was a little bit of a sluggish start with just the one fight that did not go their way. But DM, I talked about it. They've been able to really match Tizzy in the past. 14-1 that first round, almost a little bit over 7,500 damage. I mean, they had themselves around. I mean, so far everyone has been doing really good. I think honestly, if you look at the stats, you're kind of looking a little bit more over a Loft Tower for that blue team to really be able to pick it up a little bit here. I thought they did a good job, but I just felt like the pressure that was coming out from red team really put them in some bad spots where they just had to quickly make some decisions, and some of the times they just didn't make the right ones. But coming out of the gate here, DM showing us the Ramatra on the defense side. I like this here, especially going into this Domina on the other side for Tizzy, just because, again, the punches go through shields. That's going to be able to do a lot more to Tizzy on that Domina. Force them in spots they don't want to be, force them to play a little bit further back. But look at that, Yep and Saxon Hill. Again, we've been seeing a lot again tonight. Yep, though, showing us the first Freya of the night. Hunter, me and you know how much this region likes playing Freya. We've seen some great Freyas already throughout a lot of the show matches and throughout a lot of the tryouts. Freya is one that if you pair it up with this Domina perfectly, you're going to be just walking through bodies.
Oh, we know 100%, and that's the benefit you get in a situation like that with this character, especially so. Obviously, we'll see how well it's going to work out, as now Blue going to get their chance to go on the attack. Tizzy more than happy to stay over on this Domina, but with DM on the Sriracha, I think we'll question how long this stays, because remember, that shield it does not block those punches. If DM goes full aggro, it might be difficult to stop.
And again, you have two supports who are not afraid to go full aggro with them here, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they play this here. But you already see Yep taking care of at least the speed portion of that support line.
Yeah, that's a great way to get things going right now. You see form being used here by DM kind of early on, just wants to be able to stabilize, stay alive. Remember, you can afford to give up a tick or two, but the rest of your team needs to stay alive and get your 5th back.
Quickly gonna be able to get back here. You're gonna give up that second tick most likely, especially with Tizzy just blocking the door, but no, you stop it right before that second tick, and Tizzy almost being taken out here pretty early on.
Yeah, 100%. You see Saxonil trying to go on the hunt as barely gonna be able to stay alive with that one, but Tizzy down first and foremost. Now these 2 ticks, it might end up staying that way unless somebody pops off here and tries to be the hero for this squad. Potentially going to be Saxonil with the big cleanup right there. Left here to give a little bit of aid as you see Yep gonna be falling apart as well. Still, you're in there if you're Saxonil trying to find some of these cleanups. You have Lep hanging around with you, but you have teammate after teammate falling over, and now they're on their own and probably gonna have to reset here in a moment.
I mean, no, Tizzy is
Right?
back. If you can get rid of Oracle, you might be actually able to cap this point here, but no, you now are going to quickly have to fall back. Even with Tizzy finding Oracle, you have the numbers advantage, and DM coming back on the ball just to make sure this point doesn't get capped right here and now. Bola shot ready, though, for Yep, and it's one of those moments right now where we talked about the first time. Do we just see them give up the point? Bola out. Misses DM, though, because they got pushed away.
Yeah, but that should realistically seal that one up as, yeah, everyone else can't get back to the point in time, and now this is a big chance to potentially find some cleanouts. Remember, they have still a quicker composition. They want to try to hunt some people down. Hades is not going to escape right there. Soji doing their best to be able to do so, as well as DM is going to swap back around and go over to the D.Va instead.
Yeah, again, I think going over to the D.Va here on defense a little bit better. You want to be able to have a little bit more maneuverability, get those high runs a lot faster. But is it going to run into the same thing we saw last round with Tizzy trying to play that D.Va and just getting punished time after time again by DM on the Domina? It's going to be one interesting thing to see, but they want to try it here again. They believe their DPS line and support line is going to be able to help them out a little bit more here. But look, because they're so far pushed up, look at how much space this blue team already has going in this one. But Tizzy, they need some healing.
Ooh, yeah, and that shield just slightly too late, and now you're not really going to get any more progress here as Soji cleaning up bodies once again. Left, fortunately, be the last one to fall over. Saxonil actually still hanging around. Will go down as well, but now you're looking at 4 ultimates on the table, but Achura having this beat online is so crucial.
Yeah, sure, having the speed. I mean, again, Beat's probably one of the best ultimates in the game, maybe one of the more stronger ultimates in the game as well. Having it ready basically negates what you would get from a Blade, and probably really is going to be used to match Left to be on the other side. The Consumer Rush already out here from Hades, and I like what Blue Team's doing here. Just letting it go outside of now Beat and Blade.
Okay, yeah, now it's a little bit more of an investment in this situation as you see Saxonil with that blade is trying to cut through some bodies. Doesn't get a whole lot of value, but ultimately separation is there as you get rid of DM. The support's running for their lives right now, trying to get out of there as everyone is staying alive, so this bodes well when it comes to this next fight.
It really does, and right now, if you're Blue Team, if you can find one more pick, there it is. But Oracle was actually fighting in the back with Lep for the longest time. Yep turns around, helps Lep out, and they immediately get rid of the tracer. So there goes a lot of that backline pressure for them now. But look at the ultimates here. Tizzy, Panopticon ready to go. Loft Tower has that Consumer Rush. They can immediately throw this out right now to try to end this fight quickly. And honestly, if it comes out now, I don't think Red Team even tries to contest.
Yeah, but they are, and the longer this goes, the worse they might be. And here comes that Consumer Rush available now. Close to a bomb, potentially, but knocked out at 95%. Saxonil, close to going down, will be one of the first casualties of this fight, but still, everybody separated the way they are. It's just Oracle and Hades hoping to get a couple more touches up here online. The Oracle about to be alone, unfortunately. Just not going to last long enough. That point already having passed over nearly 4 minutes on the clock as Soji is going to make that swap over to the Ashe.
Yeah, again, remember, they started off on Ashe, got one pick, then immediately went over to the Cassie and looked a lot better on that. It looks like they've really struggled this round, and just being able to get set up on anything. Going over to the Ashe, maybe just play a little bit further back so they're not being absolutely harassed by Tizzy, and mostly Lep and Saxon throughout this one here. But they have to watch out for Yep, who's really come alive this entire round. Ults, though, bomb and pulse bomb ready to go here for Red Team, not that far away from Kitsune Rush. Tizzy, though, still holding on that Panopticon. And at this point, Hunter, as a target taken out, I think the Panopticon is mostly just being used as a threat. Never mind, there it goes.
Well, it's a little bit more than a threat now. It's going to force some bodies to get back, but Saxonale still ends up being the first one to go down. You're still getting a lot of progress, so even though you do lose this fight, you're going to get a rather considerable amount of work here. Unfortunately, with the way everybody's at right now, this could be some slow, painful deaths. Tizzy and Left going to go down. Take one with you at the very least, as you're going to work up towards that bullet shot and the sound barrier for your next fight.
Yev's been able to build up these bullet shots pretty quickly here, but again, I feel like we say that about every Freya we see. Tizzy now making the swap over to the Winston. Ooh, I like this here. Going away from the poke that we've been seeing them play throughout the majority of the map on the Domina. Now they're on the Winston, going to be able to match up with Diem a little bit more and get on that backline, forcing the spots that allow Yep and Saxon to be able to find a lot of value here. But still, you look at Red Team. We already talked about the 2 bombs ready to go. Not that far away from Bob and not that far away from Beat here. So they're in a good spot here. All the Beat ult is about to come up here for Red Team.
Yeah, 100% they are. As again, you're looking for Yep to find some kind of bolo shot, but again, you're seeing DM constantly looking them in the face, wanting to make sure you don't get away with a free one here, and Yep, it's just going to be completely separated the moment they put themselves in the room right there, as they will take care of themselves ultimately. But again, only 2 minutes left over on this point, as things start to become a little difficult. They need to open a door up here.
They need to open a door, but look at the ultimates they have. They have 4 ready to go here. And the Beat already, and the Blade already coming out here.
Yep, and now you're trying to find something here with this Blade. Saxonale is going to be separated. Lucky to still be standing. Will be separate at the end of the day. They're still trying to take this one away, but this is becoming more and more difficult as Yup ends up investing the bolo shot. They have given everything into this fight now, but still they're in a rough situation. But Yup, with no health remaining, is still finding shot after shot, trying to keep them in this one, as eventually it's just game over on the point. Ajira trying to get back in time, the bomb alive. Whether the screen comes through or not is important. Unfortunately, doesn't come through. One more touch to rule them all as Oracle finds the pulse bomb out there, but it will not matter. Again, both teams finish the map, both with similar time banks, but 20 seconds more for the blue squad this time.
Yeah, again, a really good round there by the blue squad, especially since it seemed like as red team was attacking that first round, blue team was kind of just struggling immensely. I talked about, I believe it was Loft Tower kind of struggling there a little bit on that Kiriko. They just kind of seemed like they were all over the place. Their composition I thought was good, but I mean, you saw Tizzy get off of the diva that me and you really know them for, went over to the Domina instead. I thought that they did a good enough job being able to match up against DM, but then you swap sides and Tizzy sticks with the Domina the entire time. DM makes swaps. Actually, no, Tizzy makes a swap over to the Winston at the end. I think that really put their team in a little bit of a better spot, allow them to play a little bit quicker. They were able to kind of dive that backline a little bit more. And like I said, dive that backline, opens up some space and some opportunities for that DPS line to really be able to find some valuable targets. However, at the end, it was really just an ult fight. And that's what we've seen a lot so far tonight, where the teams really are good at building up their ultimates, saving them and dumping them all in one fight. Blue team, the Beat and the Blade, really was able to get a lot out from the other side. It forced out their own Beat, forced out, I believe, their own Kitsune Rush. It forced out red team's Beat and Kitsune Rush, I'm pretty sure. And it worked very well in the end for that blue team.
You know, it worked beautifully for them in that instance. Obviously, it's a really good move by them to make the swaps that they did. And obviously, it's not massive swaps by any means. But eventually, you find that opening to go in with the Winston instead with Tizzy. And it opens up the door, and you have so many ultimates to throw into that fight. It is a bit messy overall. But honestly, when you have the Winston, I guess you're not afraid to have it be messy. When you have a Kitsune Rush, you're not afraid of it being a little messy at the end of the day. So overall, another situation where it's a good performance for both teams. I think everyone had their very good moments to shine. I think, yep, especially towards the latter ends, had a really good performance. Soji, earlier on, I think had really good performances as well, especially was popping off immensely near the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they looked really good that first round. Kind of took them a little bit to get going on that second round. I even mentioned it. They went through a couple of heroes before settling in on that Ashe, and I thought that would be something that would help them out in the end. They get to play a little bit further back. They're not in the middle of the fight, and it seemed to be able to do that because, hey, they got a Bob very quickly after making that swap there. But right now, it's going to be just interesting to see what... Oh, wow. It's going to be really interesting to see what all is going to happen here. Now, what players come in, what players come out. Lijiang Tower is currently the map that is being shown to us. I would actually really like to see these two teams stay in and go back to a map like Lijiang, but considering we have seen Hades, Achura, and Yup so far throughout this entire night, I think we might be seeing at least them be swapped in potentially. But if not, I mean, I want to see these two teams go at it again. We've had a really fun night here so far, I would say, for all these players that have been shown off. And I think maybe so far, there's only a couple I could say, like, you would like to see a little bit more out of them, especially with the compositions they were playing, especially that last time. I think there was a support on each side that you could talk about saying you really want to see a little bit more out of them. It seemed like two of them were maybe dying a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. And again, these are compositions where they can be very fast and they can be very high damaging. If you're caught out in a single instance, it's really easy to get deleted on the spot. And obviously that's rough, and it comes down to whole positioning thing. But with it being Lijiang Tower, I think things are become a lot more linear. I think maybe we fall back into those brawl aspects that we kind of saw hints of earlier on back over on King's Row. It's going to be exciting to see. But these teams really are kind of sticking around a lot of the same archetypes. Again, even just the tanks sticking around with things like the Diva and the Domina, the little bit of the Winston and the Ramatra as well. We could see that potentially change, but honestly, it doesn't shock me if we have, obviously, DM and Tizzy stay in, and it's just the double Domina again. It genuinely wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, outside of the Runasapi map where Jungle Queen dominated the Domina, it's mostly been Domina throughout this entire night that we've seen teams play. Yeah, I could go back to King's Row where I saw the Rhine mirror for the most part, but ever since then, it's really been just how good has this Domina been for both these teams. And yeah, it looks like we're gonna be heading into King's Row here. No swaps coming out, so it'll be the same two teams as going into Lijiang Tower, gonna be the same two teams as last time, and it's gonna be really interesting to see because again, you get a lot of play styles here on this one. Do you see the Divas come back out? Do you see other stuff potentially be shown off here? As I mean, before the lobby even opens up, you see about everyone on blue team's picking tanks. There we go.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be fascinating. We'll see what we come out here with. We might get the first glimpse of the Zarya Vendetta. We saw some glimpses of that Vendetta earlier, but not the Russian powerlifter alongside her. So I'll be happy to see Tizzy being over on the Hazard. You might think it's weird, but no, we've seen a little bit of Hazard play in this region in previous times this last season of Face It League. It's not the most unexpected pick whatsoever. It finds some small level of value. We'll see if Tizzy wants to go on it. I'm not willing to read too deep into it, but we have seen him on it before in some pretty high-key games.
Yeah, I mean, especially we have, and I mean, it's been a tank that we have seen a decent amount here, especially now DM going over to the Orisa. We saw a lot of Orisa back in Season 5 of Face It. South America was really the first one that kind of was playing it. Then you saw it be adopted by, I believe, EMEA, Korea, and North America for a little bit when Orisa was really strong. Yes. But outside of that, look at what we're seeing here for these teams. Yup, sticking with the Soj. They've been doing a really good job on whatever hit scan they've been playing throughout the night. Soj, I think, has been their go-to. Saxon Hale mostly played Tracer last map, going over to the Vendetta instead. So it's going to be fun to see how they do on one of Overwatch's newest, I mean, hell, we just dropped 5, so they're not new anymore, heroes. But, okay, there we go. I wanted to see at least one of these teams do the Zarya Vendetta comp. Blue team going to show us that here with Tizzy. Again, we've seen Tizzy. I know I talked about them being an incredible Diva player, but they are very flexible as well. Achura showing us the cat. I mean, getting off the Lucio for one of the first times here tonight. The cat's going to be very interesting, especially into this comp that Blue team is playing.
Yeah, 100%. And with DM kind of going into the Zarya in the situation, obviously the Zarya is pretty advantageous going into an Orisa, but DM needs to play carefully. Just don't give Tizzy all of this charge to work with. You can put yourself in good territory. Now, obviously, having the cat once more, your strategies are going to be very particular as to what you do. But the blue team has put themselves over on the point. You're going to get that first flip here for free as DM eventually needs to kind of go in and invest, try to separate somebody. But he's going to struggle consistently to run into Tizzy here as they are going to get burnt down. And with that, red team is probably going to have to run for the hills.
Yeah, they're going to have to completely fall back here. Sure,
wait, what?
Finds Tizzy out, and you know what? I gotta give a lot of that credit over to Oracle. They were in that backline just taking all the attention away from the supports, not gonna be able to keep their tank up here, especially with DM going over this Ramatra now. You could see red team come back in very, very quickly, and you already see Achura just bringing the tank right back into the middle of the fray.
Yeah, and DM gonna help with that finish right there. Achura helping out a lot with the cat, but left a big boop here to potentially stem all of that momentum that red was starting to grow over on their side. Achura goes in to try to find some kind of leeway. Unfortunately, can't find that finish over onto Yep. So another reset. It's smart in the end of the day for blue to kind of stay on the point because this is a really hard point to just walk in on.
Yeah, especially with the comp they're playing. This is a comp where, unless you're already having a team engage with it, or you want to be the ones engaging, you kind of just play back on point. You bunker on it a little bit. This composition, yeah, you want Saxon Hale to go up there and get the charge for Tizzy, but other than that, you want to play in these safe spaces for them here. As you already see DM trying to punch their way through a choke point. However, you do see Loft Tower, and yep, on and off angle, you will lose Loft Tower, but yep, we'll find Oracle.
Yeah, 100% you do. You're trying to find the boop right there, not gonna be able to do so. If you're already worried about ultimates can be online here soon, yep, there's ready to go, but unfortunately it's down, and now Kitsune Rush to try to clear out this point and get that flip, and I imagine Blue is just going to completely abandon the point, going to flip over at 82%, but to be fair, you get the Kitsune Rush, and you get a quick regroup too.
Yeah, you're getting a quick regroup here. I'm kind of surprised that Left did not just invest the beat here. However, like you said, quick regroup, invest in the Kitsune Rush, and you already see some value coming out from it.
Yeah, that you do right now. You're looking to find some kind of big boop right here, and Sochi goes off the side, Left taking care of business, and with a pulse bomb out, you're trying to bring this one back around. Unfortunately, Oracle's not going to be able to do so. With Hades taking a late death here, Oracle is going to have to be a touch.
It's going to be rough for Oracle to even get that touch here. They're going to have to walk through a lot, and Tizzy could honestly just throw grab at choke here. However, it's actually going to be Soji, I think, who's going to end up getting the touch here unless Lep boops them off. Not going to be able to do that there. Grab is out, does capture 3.
Yep, and 3 in, 3 dead. You might see maybe a flip come through here, but it's not going to matter. Just Oracle hanging around. Going to stall for a while, but with no flip coming through, that's going to do that for your first round. 100-18. And to be fair, I think this is just good team play at the end of the day for this Blue squad. Realizing where you need to play with this comp and taking advantage of the fact that, again, that point in particular, Fortnite market, it is so hard to just walk in and try to flip it.
Oh, absolutely. It really is, especially on that Zarya Vendetta comp. Like I said, the only times you're really poking your head out from the point and maybe that little courtyard in front of the point is to have that Vendetta, get a bubble, go in, get some charge, and then get out. And that's exactly what that Blue team did throughout their entire round. And honestly, I want to a huge shout out to a lot of players on that team there for Blue, but Lep, I believe, was the only one who didn't die. They were also just constantly being harassed by Oracle throughout the entirety of that run on that Tracer, and did a really good job keeping them and Loft Tower up throughout a lot of those fights. And Red Team had opportunities. Remember, they got rid of Loft Tower in one of those fights when Loft Tower and Yup decided to go to Food Court and play an off angle. They traded it out there, but without that Soj, you would have hoped that, or without the Kiriko, you would have hoped Red Team maybe would have pushed in a little bit more. But even with DM playing a counter to Zarya on that Ramatra, it just never happened. Tizzy did exactly what you needed to do there to make sure that the Ramatra found almost no value.
Yeah, no, 100%. And now you're kind of seeing this response out of the gate. DM is going to just straight up go to that Zarya to get things started. It's going to be a complete mirror if things stay as they do. Obviously, nothing for sure until that clock hits 0. But I can see it going down this route, trying to just go with the complete mirror, bring that offense, because Soji in their own right, again, has had some really good moments throughout the series. I think if they're able to have that little extra bit of aggression, like Saxon was kind of able to have, I think could very much go in their own favor as well. Obviously, we'll have to see what the case is going to be, but I'm excited because the mirror is not something you see every day, especially with these tryouts, unless obviously it's told ahead of time.
Yeah, and again, we're referencing what happened with Team Chile over the weekend, where the coaches did tell teams, here's the comp you're going to play, mirror it, and we normally did see it on control maps, because I feel like a lot of times you see the mirrors happen on control maps. But I think this is a good move here for Red Team. You just want to see something. Soji, though, getting off of the hit scan. We've been seeing them play throughout the night so far in their 2 maps, going over to the Vendetta instead, giving Oracle the hit scan roll. So they're swapping roles mid-map here. It's going to be interesting to see how they play, but right now, I'm looking over at Achura for this Red Team. I mean, again, they've been playing very aggressively on this Lucio. It has put them in some bad spots already. This map, ooh,
yeah,
your Lucio to be good. However,
yeah. Speaking of rough spots to be in, I think we can say that for the whole Red squad right now. DM will love to get out of there with all that charge. It is not happening though. Let's be a fast reset as Blue squad gonna be able to claim this point as Tizzy is still just clearing out body after body as Akira has to just go back to the spawn room.
And again, it's just rough here for this Red Team, because it feels like you're playing against a Blue team that has a lot of history, a lot of just communication with each other, and they're playing it perfectly. I mean, Tizzy, we know how good of a tank they are. Saxon Hill, again, we talked about them being a tank. They've been able to flex around in the past, but they are doing a really good job on this Vendetta. However, they get punished there, and Soji's actually the one to do it.
Yeah, now this opens up the door for Red to be able to take this one back, but of course, you still have plenty of ability to be able to stall this thing out, but Tizzy, I think, importantly, wants to be able to maintain all of that charge they have online, so point flip going to come through. You're going to try to get your 5th back and going with all the charge, but Tizzy needs to preserve their life.
And they're doing a good job of that, but again, we saw this last point with Blue Team. Quick fallback, quick review, Flop Tower finds Soji out, so now, who's the bubble going to be going on? Probably just DM themselves at this point.
Yeah, and now you're seeing a flip starting to come through. Need to keep some bodies on right here because I don't think you can throw anybody else on as you're going to take another reset really go here. DM is too far ahead right now. Lucky to still be standing as they'll be able to regroup with the rest of their squad here as Tizzy already has the Graviton Surge ready.
Achara, though, not that far away from Beat, so they do have something to basically counter it out here. The only thing you have to hope for Achara is that if they get caught in it, they don't Ajax into it. You have to expect that Saxon Hell's going to be looking for it here as Soji diving in. There's the grab and the beat.
Yeah, tons of damage. B can throw back the other way. Oracle does go down ultimately, so door has opened up right here. You get a little bit extra healing if you are DM to maybe get out of here alive. You try to burn down Tizzy. It doesn't happen. DM might pay for that with their own life potentially. Is going to try to get out of here alive. It's going to be able to stay alive, but now when you come to this beat right here, DM, nothing to fully stop this Graviton Surge anymore.
Yeah, nothing. Other than maybe a casino from Loft Tower, but that's a hope and a prayer, essentially, at that point. So, and you lose left. I mean, the grab is free.
Yeah, we'll see 2 coming through, 2 going down. Saxon Hell, the last one to fall, as you can see the flip come through. Still, at the end of the day, you get rid of 3 ultimates that fight. You're going to come in with the Sundering Blade, Sune Rush. It's such a heavy advantage for Blue going into this next fight.
Oh, it's a huge advantage for Blue going into this next fight because of all the Red team basically dumped all the ultimates they had ready into that fight. They didn't need to probably invest the overclock, but hey, they won it, and now they have to be able to survive through this. You already see Yep starting off. Oh, both DPS using ultimates here.
Yep, Saxon Hell trying to find somebody just barely out of the range here for Hades, who now is going to get some level of aggression. He's going to get out of there alive, but you take a couple of trades to get this fight started. Now you're hoping for Soji to come through, but Saxon Hill going to slice and dice him down here. As you're going to keep up that aggression, try to get this fight done and over with, trying to get this flip through. If you're trying your charges not to give it up, you are DM, but with Kitsune Rice here, you need to get out and try to group one final time, but Blue not going to allow that, as now it is going to be a scramble to get a touch here.
It's going to be a really rough point. Soji has to be the one to get the touch, but they're just being harassed by everyone there from Blue Team. Achura trying to rush back in, but they will not get there in time. And looks like because the map's not ending, we will still play the 3rd point as we are in Scream Code. But again, we're just kind of seeing the Blue Team pick up right where they left off. Red Team, they made the swaps over to mirror this, and I think it worked out for them a little bit better this time, but they're still struggling in some key points, and it's just positioning. And like I said, I think there's a chemistry with this Blue Team. It seems like Tizzy, Saxon Hell, and Lep are doing a really, really good job communicating with each other, because in this composition with the Zarya Vendetta, it's really, really important to have that Lucio kind of hanging around just far enough out of the way of the Vendetta, but still close enough that they get that speed to get them out a lot of the time. They've been doing an incredible job throughout this map. And I mean, right now, Lep, the only time we saw him die was in the beat. I was in the grab, my bad. Was just before the grab that DM threw out. They've only done 1 time this map. They've been doing an excellent job just keeping up the consistency here on this very, very wannabe in-your-face kind of comp that Blue Team and now Red Team are both playing.
Yeah, no, 100%. This in-your-face style is something that we have kind of fallen into these last couple months, and you can attribute that to things like the Zarya Vendetta. But I'm happy that we've kind of gone down that style to a lot more of this aspect. But obviously we'll see, because again, that Tizzy Lep, the combination, it didn't start the hottest when they first went in together, but it's gotten better and better as it has gone along right here. And you can argue that DM and Soji, I think, are starting to work a little better together as well. You're going to see a little bit of that synergy come through here, because obviously with all these players being together, not all of them obviously play on teams all the time. So it's going to be fascinating how quickly that synergy is able to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think especially with that, we're talking about Lep when it comes to not playing with a lot of these players before. Maybe in the past a little bit, but Lep again on an OWCS team on Disguised. They, might played with a couple of these players in the past, but probably a lot of new faces for them here tonight. And being able to pick it up really quickly is something that I think a lot of players, especially at this level, need to be able to do. And so far, you're seeing that. Yep, I would love to see the Emre. I don't believe it, though. Yeah, there it goes.
Not for a second. Is Tizzy actually on the... Ooh, Tizzy.
Ooh, complete swap up here from blue team. I like it. They want to be a little bit more aggressive, especially... Oh, they're just going to knock people off the edge, aren't they?
this is the Tizzy way, ultimately. We have this aggression out the gate as...
Oh,
that's going to make things a little awkward for Tizzy, who now only has Lucio healing.
Oh, yeah, and because we've seen the scrim code in the past, they will not spawn in where they disconnected. They'll spawn in back in the spawn here. So blue team,
Yeah.
this is going to be a really interesting fight now because you're probably either looking for the exit or inting your brains out into the entire enemy team.
Yeah, bazooka. It's gonna be fascinating now how this goes down because, again, Tizzy in a bit of a well, literally in a Tizzy right now. Not the best position in the world, but to be fair, does have the ability to quickly shift and get out of there. So they'll probably need a quick little reset.
Yeah, quick reset. But I mean, if you just get everyone out here right now for blue team, you're going to be able to really not give up a lot of ult charge to the other side and maybe even get a fight off before point opens up, which is not the worst scenario for them. Looks like ours are coming out from both teams, just waiting for it to be restarted here. But again, unfortunate for them because it's just a little bit unfortunate. But there we go. But I mean, right now, I feel like if you're red team, you're kind of happy that you didn't get booped or punched off the side of the map already, as Tizzy
almost does it themselves.
Almost throws himself off. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them can get back pretty quickly, though. You're trying to find a punch, but again, a little bit of care. But Saxon Hill early pick over onto Hades with this Echo. Obviously has so much burst potential right here. Has to kind of hide away for a moment. As without Yup, you're kind of relying on all that damage to come through. Last second touch coming alive here for Tizzy, who, again, gets off for a second. That's going to come through, but everyone is being forced out. This flip should come back very quickly.
Very quickly. I mean, they didn't even need Loft Tower in that fight. Saxon Hill is able to find one on this Echo, and again, blue team completely making the comp swap here to something that we haven't seen them play this entire map, and it's still working for them.
Yeah, 100% it is, and with the Curate down, unfortunately, you lose all that speed, and you should see them fall apart one by one, but no, 'tis not the case. Ton of charge here for DM, still just needs the care to be able to stay alive. Punch going to miss as well. This keeps the door open for them to try to pull this one back around. As long as DM is alive, this is winnable. They are barely hanging on. Eventually going to be burnt down, and that fight should be done and dusted.
And, I mean, again, blue team's doing a really good job. And this is the kind of comp that I like to call a little bit of a chaos comp. They want to move fast. They want to just be flying across the map, and especially with Lep on this Lucio, it's going to be really fun to see how Tizzy plays on this Doomfist. Again, a hero that I don't think, okay, you can punch people off the map there. They got it. But again, we know how good of a tank Tizzy is. I just don't think we've seen him on the Doomfist before, but right now, this is very impressive for them.
Yeah, no, fantastically so. We definitely don't see them on us that often, but you see that level of aggression up there. Can I even see the fact that Saxon Hill is going to let the Zarya loose here with that copy? It's not going to really get any results right here. It's going to be able to bubble in Tizzy in this instance right here, but you're not even really going to get the Graviton Surge online more than likely. Going to try to get it online, close to doing so. Unfortunately, this copy is going to do nothing but buy time, but to be fair, time is a commodity right now.
And I mean, they're still investing in this fight. Beat now coming out from blue team, and I mean, red team hasn't been even able to get out of their own courtyard yet here.
Yeah, this is becoming rough right now as Oracle is happy to invest here. Is going to try. He's able to hide behind the rock for a moment to stay alive. Is eventually be burnt down though, and now you're worried about a touch right here because there's no one really alive at the moment who can get there.
No, not at all. I mean, blue team's just having their way with the red team at this point. No one could be getting touched. DM does find left. The grab is out, and Archer trying to get their will get it. No, they don't. They don't get a touch. They die. Saxon Hill finds them.
Yeah, they get rid of two now. Still has a big opportunity, but eventually the Zarya is just going to be too much to deal with. But still, Tizzy is hanging around. A big puncher could potentially decide this thing, but instead is going to head back there. Wants to try to hit her up. Archer was trying to come back with that beat instead, but there's still a fight going on the point. Is the point going to flip back over 99% as Blue Squad just needs a quick regroup?
Lep still going up to Archer in that backline. Now the overclock coming out here from Yup.
Yep, 100% beat going to be used here to keep these going. Tizzy needs to try to get out of here alive. It looks potentially unlikely. He has to go in with the ult. Is going to try to recover, but still, DM waiting for that drop to come through. Going to get a bunch of that charge as a result as well. The Coming with a consider rush over into this fight, though. Soji might have to be one to turn this fight around. Summer Blade is online, causes separation onto Yup, and is going to keep them in this one momentarily, but DM gets booped off the edge. All of that charge gone. And with that being the case, maybe Tizzy, Saxonell, Locktower might be enough to pull this one back around if Tizzy can be kept up. Saxonell going to go in for the Conti now instead, trying to burn down a couple of bodies, but eventually you're seeing them being cut down one at a time. Separation coming through. They're just throwing their bodies on one at a time as a Sundering Blade ready to go. And DM is just buying time.
I mean, this is probably one of the most stallable points in the entirety of Overwatch here, but I don't think anyone else will be able to get back in time. Soji trying to get there, will get a touch. They do have Hades with them, but now it's just Hades on their own, and Saxon Hale will find, I was going to say the final 2 picks, but again, this is a stallable point. This point could be stalled out forever, Hunter.
It very much could right there. Chira is down, though. DM back over on that ball. This stall has been for centuries, it feels like, but eventually everything comes to an end. That's a 3-0 right there for the blue squad right here. Again, looking great. That combination, looking better and better as the map went on. So, again, if you're blue squad, obviously you're excited, right? You found your own moments right there. I think Soji still had some really good moments on that map. Achura, I think, had a lot of really good survivability as well. But obviously, just, again, that blue squad, that synergy just grew with every single fight.
Yeah, and if there's any big takeaway I'm taking from that map there for blue team, especially with a lot of the players there, one, I want to see Tizzy on the Doomfist more often. I understand that is basically a kind of a back pocket pick for a lot of people. We do know some players that have really been able to make Doomfist and other tanks like Wrecking Ball go far in other regions. But Tizzy looked incredible on it there. But again, you talked about the synergy, the chemistry that was really coming from that blue team was all over the place. It really showed on the first 2 points and on the third point as well. Because, I mean, it took basically the red team having to throw buys on point and find one pick basically to really have them just get anything going. I mean, that blue team did really good. I mean, you talked about Soji there. That was not a good map for them. It really wasn't. Yeah, it picked up for them towards the end, but halfway through that third point, I remember looking over at the stat line, and they were 3 and I believe 15. They struggled immensely that map. And yeah, they swapped roles. Basically, we noticed that going into the second point where they weren't playing the hit scan anymore. They were playing the flex DPS. It wasn't the best showing for them, but hey, they probably swapped roles there just to see what they had there. I think if they come back in, let's stick to the hit scan for them. Looks like they will be coming back in. Looks like Tizzy and DM will be staying in for the next map. Here, it looks like actually outside of this, I think the support lines are basically swapping. And hey, we can talk about this now. If you watched the Team Chile tryouts that Hunter and myself and a couple other people covered throughout this entire weekend, you will notice a name here now for Team Argentina tryouts, Neuroshed. We saw him Team Chile, didn't make the cut there, or at least we're thinking they did not, but now they are trying out here for Team Argentina as well. I mean, Hunter, we saw them have some really, really great moments, but at the same time, we also saw them struggle against some of the players on that Team Chile tryout.
Yeah, 100%. But it is worth noting that they made it through the initial cuts as well, got to that final day of the tryouts, and played against some of the very best players in Chile, and to some extent, I believe held their own as well. Obviously, again, had their struggles for sure, but I think had some really good moments as well. So we'll see what they do in this situation right here. Obviously, we don't know all the specifications, but we know there's plenty of players that whether they have dual citizenship, whatever have you may, everyone has that opportunity. But we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
Tizzy, I will be gentle. It'll be really fascinating to see, especially now that the lines have swapped, and now Hayes and Achura gonna be with Tizzy this time.
Yeah, and Lep and Loft Tower are gonna be with DM here as well. So all that chemistry and synergy we talked about last map for our blue team out the door. Saxon Hale, though, still gonna be with Tizzy. Oracle, I don't believe was with Tizzy last time. So you're seeing a swap at that, I believe, the hit scans and the support lines for both these teams. Soji's still going to be on the red team, but you get Lep and Loft Tower, who were with Tizzy last map. I think this is a really fun way to look at this right now for this Argentina team. They're definitely trying to get a lot out of these players here, definitely trying to get a lot of intel. Because again, tough decisions for a lot of these coaches to make at this point. Especially with how good the 2 tanks were that last map, especially with how good a lot of the supports were as well. And now swapping up the teams, I'm going to be really happy to see this here. I want to know what map we're going to, though, because Lijiang Tower still being hovered at the moment. I would love to see us go to I think a hybrid. No, Escort. I think Escort's been the only mode we have yet to play.
I mean, I think we saw
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint to do as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because we've seen a good amount of combination already, but it'd be really cool to go with something akin to like a Circle Royale and see a little bit more of that hard hit scan a little bit. Stuff like the Sigma Domina come back out as well. But I'm assuming we're not meant to be running Legion back to back. At least I'm assuming it's what we're seeing. But I guess yeah. I guess so.
Even the players are asking
Same.
if we're supposed to be. Yep. Okay. A little bit of a mistake right there. Jumped the gun a little bit too fast, so we'll get whatever the next map is going to be here. Again, Flashpoint and Escort are the two modes we haven't yet played. It wouldn't surprise me if we go back to another hybrid or go back to another push map here as well. Just something that's not a control map, basically, is what I'm just saying at this point.
Yeah, we'll see in a moment what the swap ends up being here. But it'll be really interesting to see what the situation is gonna be. Again, I really would like to see Circuit Royale. Kind of see these hit scans fully in action, who definitely have showed their stuff. But I think that'll give them a really, really amazing platform to be able to do so on a map where the sight lines so long, so integral. But we'll obviously see what the situation is going to be here shortly. I mean, Dex, whether it is a specific player, whether it is just something you want to see overall, what do you feel like you need to see more of when it comes to these players or these teams, when it comes to maybe certain compositions or maybe even just certain heroes?
Honestly, I want to see these flex players, these flex DPS players, just play a little bit more something other than Vendetta. Yeah, we've seen Genji a decent amount. We have seen Echo now a decent amount. We've seen Tracer a little bit, but I want to see him kind of stick with that because, again, as this year goes on and as we get into those actual games against other countries trying to get those wild card spots into the World Cup, you're going to probably need to play a little bit something different than Vendetta Zarya here, because I don't think in a couple months that's still going to be the meta. Granted, it's the meta right now, so they're playing what is good right now. I would love, like you said, Circle Royale I think would be a fun map as well. It allows the hit scans to really get off to a good start, have a lot of good area here, and we've seen how they've been able to. But no, Flashpoint will be the next map. New Junk City gonna be the pick here. So again, this leads into me believing that Zarya could still be on the table, Domina could still be on the table, Ramatra or Rissa are definitely still there. I feel like we're going to see a lot of the same that we just saw on Li Jiang, but there does leave the door open for us. A couple certain play styles to come out here, a couple certain heroes to come out here as well. Jungle Queen is something you could see here if you really want to try it, but I don't know if either of these tank players would really want to do that.
Yeah, and it's going to be fascinating to see if anything changes, because obviously DM is hovering over the Drinker Queen. I was going to say, Tizzy having the Queen out wouldn't be a shocker whatsoever. If it's a complete mirror, that wouldn't shock me either. But you imagine it's going to go down the road of maybe the Queen, maybe the Zarya as well. The Domina is always a good shout to go with as well. But here's the thing. That Lucio Curie is still there. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. It doesn't have a reason to change. But like you said, it's going to come down to these DPS, especially the Flex DPS, to see what they can show here with Nurshin on their first map, currently representing that Genji that we did see some quite a little bit of in those Team Chile tryouts.
Ooh. But what blue team's going to here, I like it. I like this a lot. However, now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, I think they still fully expect to be seeing, okay, now that, Saxon? Okay, I really expect that they think that the red team's gonna be coming out with that Zarya Vendetta comp again here. You have Oracle there on that Bastion. Again, we talk about a lot throughout Faceit League where we looked at the Bastion as just a bubble popper, and that comp really plays into that. Now that you don't see it, unless Oracle finds a lot of value in this first fight on this Bastion, you might immediately see them swap, because I do not think they're necessarily into a good kind of matchup with anyone on the other side.
No, you get caught out here in a rough spot. It's gonna be really hard to pull it back from right now. And as you see, they go in the speed with the rotation, waiting for the right time to use this spawn. They're gonna try to run in. Pin going to come through, and DM just deleted over on the spawn. And without your tank, this is gonna become really rough to come back from right here. Nurshin gonna do their best to be able to stay alive. Everyone should be able to stay alive long enough to take the reset, as they gotta wait for DM to get back. So the point caps over the blue.
DM should be able to get back pretty quickly, especially with Lep on their side there. But, I mean, I was so focused on Oracle there as we look at Lep getting a pause here. I was so focused on Oracle for the most part there, playing that Bash and that. We barely talked about Sax and Hale. We saw them kind of going back and forth between Tracer and May right before the doors opened up. But I always say Ice Wall is such a critical ability in a lot of fights because it sections teams off. And we saw right there, Tizzy got the charge onto DM, and you saw the cleanup there from blue team. And that's exactly what you're looking to do here in this composition. Yeah, Oracle is going to struggle into it a little bit, but if you can find DM out early on, you saw it red team there. They just backed out. They can't take a fight without their jungle queen.
No, they cannot, and that's the simple as the symbol does right there. But the thing part is the moment that happened, everybody got out, everyone took the reset. They're gonna be able to go into a quick fight here. You're gonna see them rotate over to the side right here. Oracle is gonna be ready with this form. The problem is that you kind of have to take this fight before you go over towards the point. DM is separated, by the way. I mean, hard separated. Gets pinned into Cleanse. He's going to be over there to keep them going. And now there's a good chance for them to potentially just go and flip this point right now. But unfortunately, they're working their way around. They should be set for a touch.
Almost actually be able to cap the point, but you can see that damage coming out from Matura on that high ground. First time we're actually not seeing them play Lucio throughout the night.
Yeah, and unfortunately for DM, they are just so hard separated. Going to get deleted still. They're going to try to see if they get anything here, but Oracle has already bursted down two, hoping to get a third as Nurshin feels the power of Reinhardt from behind as they're going to be able to clean up this fight. And this first point going to be capped really quickly.
And look, DM making swaps, that red team making swaps. I actually thought they had the better comp coming into this map, but I think blue teams really played around this comp, played around the comp that red teams had very well, and basically making to a spot where Oracle has, I'm looking at the damage taken stat for them, hasn't taken that much damage at all throughout this entire map. They've done a good job of just playing around Tizzy, playing around their supports, and just being able to stay safe here. And now you're looking for red team. They have to be able to get onto someone, and at this point they're gonna be able to get set up on this point first, so they should get high ground presence. But again, you have almost Shatter ready to go, and I would not be surprised if Oracle pops off with the artillery here just to buy some space.
You would think, yeah, you see Lep is kind of separated from the rest of their squad right now. I think trying to take some attention right now is, yeah, we go in to try to cause separation. The wall is going to cause the drop right there as Soji going to try to find a little something here with the overclock. Is definitely getting some damage in, but gets booped back into it, and Soji's going to be pushed down as a result. Shatter comes through. It doesn't really get anything, but to be fair, they're going to win the fight regardless, as DM would love to get out of here alive. Maybe take Tizzy with them. However, that is looking unlikely, as DM actually is going to get some care, and he's going to live.
And Tizzy is going to get care as well from Churro, who, again, like I said, isn't playing the Lucio for the first time tonight, or at least at first time that I'm remembering here. I'm probably forgetting already. But look, they've already had one, and it's already built up to their second one here. I mean, they've been playing an excellent map so far.
Yep, and here comes that aggression right there. Blade come through as well from Niroshin. Needs to burn people down. Oracle's gonna be the first one to go down. A big pin from Tizzy to turn things directly back around. 60% on the board now. And gonna be used, causes momentary separation. You would love to find a pick over onto DM, but obviously needs to stop. They realize that Annihilation is around the corner. They're gonna bide their time a little bit more, because remember, they don't have to take the aggression. They just have to be ready for someone to have to drop down on this point, and they will get jumped the moment that they do.
Tizzy not gonna be able to charge out there, and eventually we'll see red team go on point, but DM gonna use the Annihilation mostly as a zoning tool here. However, needs to keep themselves alive. You see all the healing going into them at the moment, but blue team just giving up that point swap for free here. Look, you're gonna have Blizzard, you're gonna have artillery here pretty early on. Nothing on the other side for red team to really respond with here for the moment. Loft Tower and Soji could build up to theirs, but they need to have the time, they need to have the space to do, to be able to, I think blue team's gonna be able to pressure them out. Satura, again, third Amp Matrix.
Yeah, now everyone has to just drop down, and they're all separated, so you might just see a straight drop over down onto the point. Little bit of separation. Saxhel's going to have the freeze here, as they're going to try to get the freeze over, and DM is in a rough spot right now. If that freeze were to come down, you're going to see the cap come through on that 99%. They're going to be cleaning up one at a time. Soji's going to try to pull this one back around. Needs a big high key moment, but Oracle going to survive long enough to take them down. They're going to barely pull this one out. As you're going to get one more touch here from Lock Tower, but unfortunately, second cap coming through here for the blue squad. A lot closer on that one, though.
A lot closer, and I will say this right now. because this is scrim code, no matter what, we will play all 5 points. So even if blue team does win this next point, we will still play the other 2. But I mean, red team, I think they're slowly getting it. Neuroshin getting off the Genji now, going over to the Tracer. And again, I think it's just trying to get more pressure onto that backline, especially with Achura playing a little bit more of a slower support line or support now without playing the Lucio or the Kiri here. But you need to be able to shut down Oracle, who has kind of been able to do a lot for them. You see it here, almost 6,000 damage, and they're just playing around Tizzy. They're doing a good job sticking with their supports, getting all the healing they possibly can at all moments.
Yeah, 100%. The point unlocking, red is on for the time being, and Service available as weird situation here as Oracle and Hades now both gone. Both as Lep gets another boop. Why not? As Tizzy finished off and red going to take a fight win here and cap point. Over on third to get things started. And to be fair, that's just a heads-up play from Lep to take advantage of them taking that long rotation around.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Lep's been pretty quiet this map. I mean, they haven't been able to find that much, just being able to do a lot for their team. Now that red team gets its first cap, I think this composition that they're playing is a little bit better, more well-suited for their defending the points rather than attacking the points here. But now Tizzy already in the backline, Lep running for their lives. Suzu is out here, so there's a lot that blue team could do here, especially with 4 ultimates about to be ready for them.
Yeah, and the moment you see DM use a shield, you're going to see this aggression of them walking into the second here. Obviously, you need to see people get back over on the touch, shatter, and you're going to see DM taking a trip. But no, doesn't take them off, so now this is still winnable because they're hanging around. Annihilation's back online. You got to hang around over on the point. He's a good boop kill to keep them in this one as Tizzy going to have to go in. Unfortunately, Tizzy going to go down as Red going to cap the third point, and just like that, that timing, missed it by a hair, and unfortunately, kind of goes back and costs them.
A game of inches, a game of centimeters, essentially, right there for Tizzy. But DM staying alive, like you said, it's going to cost them, keeps red team in contention for this map. So at least the 4th point will still mean a lot, at least for the map score there. But again, I feel like that's a little bit of a mistake there by blue team. However, they should be able to get the positioning on this point here first. Like I said, I think blue team's composition is more suited to be defending, not necessarily attacking. I think both these teams are, as DM gets frozen up and taken out.
Yeah, that one should be done and dusted already. 50 seconds on the clock, so they're going to have plenty of time to be able to regroup here. Whether they can actually fight for this 4th point or not is to be questioned, but I'm going to say for now they should be able to get first tap.
Yeah, they easily should be able to. You see 3 members of the blue team on it, so they're going to get a really quick cap here, but expect red team to just come charging straight in. They have the ultimates to really play with here, but blue team has all the ultimates to respond with as well.
Yeah, but Freeze comes through, and you're going to see DM potentially be cut out. Cleanse is there. Unfortunately, doesn't really do a whole lot for either of them. Now DM full-on separated. It's just not going to be able to do that. Getting frozen up. And again, you see a pick coming through here near the tail end on Hades. But unfortunately, again, it's not really going to do anything.
It's not, and that's the sad part, especially because right now this point is actually closer to the blue team spawn, and Hades is playing Lucio, so they should be able to get back really quick. However, I mean, if you're still red team here, you have ultimates. You didn't use any in that last fight. Saxon Hale only used the Blizzard and won the fight, even though it didn't freeze anyone. It did a good job zoning everyone out here. However, what do you use first here? If you're red team, you're probably looking at the pulse bomb to be able to find something here early on, or does Soji start off with the overclock? Nope, it's going to be Oracle with the barrage.
Yeah, I want to find something that's going to cause a little bit of separation. No one down quite yet as Sochi again has another overclock, by the way. Flip is going to come through. They need to find some kind of body here soon as DM begins to run out of this form right now. Shatter comes through. It's going to catch under 3 people. 3 bodies going to go down as a result. The Flip's going to come through, and with that, the 4th point should be secure.
Honestly, if you're Soji there, you're probably a little bit angry considering you were up in the air when you got shattered. But, I mean, yeah, 4th point should be going over to blue team right now. Lep was probably the one going for the touch, but hasn't been the best map for Lep. 5 deaths to their name. Doing a decent amount of healing, but it just feels like this blue team's been able to shut them down pretty consistently throughout it all here. But heading into our final point, no matter what, blue team has already won the map. But hey, like I said, we're playing scrim code here, so we're playing all 5 points regardless. Red team, though, could have both their support ultimates not that far away from Annihilation, so they could really try to drag this fight out a little bit, wait for DM to build up to that Annihilation here. But you look over at the other side, Achura. I believe this is probably their 5th or 6th amp matrix just this map. They've been doing an incredible job on this map. Already almost 13,000 healing.
Yeah, it's been absolute insanity this entire time. And now you head into the 5th and final one. Red's hoping to finish on a strong note here, and they got double scroll ultimates to do it. You see the immediate response. It's going to force Red off at this point as Blue going to be able to get the initial point touch here and get things rocking and rolling. But left tower down means that I don't know if you can invest into this fight at all.
You're investing in this fight.
Yeah, hey, and feed straight out right here at the end of the day. DM's going to go with the Annihilation as well. Going to try to run down bodies. Oracle and Hades. Ajira trying to jump around. Pin goes through. Gets left instead of DM right there. And unfortunately, you see Hades barely hanging around and Tizzy is low. Maybe wants to try to find a pin on the way out. Get some damage, but it's going to flip over around 50%.
Got on a DM there, but hey, the investment from Lep, I mean, maybe at the start you were looking at the investment, probably like how a lot of people look at their stocks as a really bad one, but hey, it ended up working out for them in the end there. I think DM also using the Annihilation was the thing that really got everything going there for Red Team. However, 2 big ultimates down now for Red Team. You look over at the side of Blue Team, no support ultimates. Both of them were used in that last fight, but Blizzard, Artillery, not that far away from Shatter. I mean, the Blizzard from Saxon Hale haven't froze anyone, but the Blue Team has always won the fights off them. But oh, Tizzy!
Yeah, now you see double investment from your DPS. Unfortunately, it's not going to get a whole lot. Tizzy goes for the Shatter. DM is getting super low. Last one alive will eventually be cleaned up. That's to be fair, that's a lot for the red side to try to pull that one back unsuccessfully.
I mean, you just used all your ultimates right there. You have nothing now going into what could honestly be final fight, especially when you look over at the other side. Sure, built up to yet another Amp Matrix. I mean, again, we've been seeing them play Lucio throughout the entire night. This Baptiste might be their bread and butter as they've just been doing excellent on it. Oracle does use the artillery there. Not going to be able to find much, but DM going to be your touch here as they're going to probably just be spear spinning onto the point.
Yeah, and that they will, and you have that freeze online, you have to throw it in place. It's going to cause some separation as DM is going to go down. Double support going to be frozen up momentarily. Still, you have a couple guys hanging around. You have touches definitely available. Nurshin going to try to be the next one. Gets up just in time with that recall as well. Oracle struggling a little bit. Unfortunately, the team's falling apart. Nurshin, last touch coming through. DM would love to make it back on the ball. It's not going to happen, though. 4-1. Not only is that the score for this one right here, but now that's the score for your blue squad right now, who's looking fantastic.
Yeah, they've been looking great. I mean, again, I was really questioning that the Bastion pick coming out for them, but I looked at the stats at the end. The Bastion had the most elims and the most damage on that blue team. They did an incredible job, really, just like I said, positioning the Bastion away from danger a lot of the times. The only times they died is in the middle of fights, red team kind of collapsing in on them. I mean, they did a really good job making sure that Bastion found value consistently throughout all these engagements. A really, really good job by blue team and a good job by that support lane. Hades as well showed us a Lucio tonight, Lucio Achura. I mean, I thought they were the biggest surprise there. That Baptiste was incredible from them, especially as you look at the first couple maps, they were playing a aggressive, bordering on hyper aggressive Lucio. It seemed like going over to that Baptiste, they slowed down a little bit and they just became unstoppable.
Yeah, that is the way it felt. It became really tough to live through any of that because, I mean, especially we look at Blue and the way they rushed into a lot of these fights. They essentially had no poke phase whatsoever. To be fair with your comp, you're not meant to have a poke phase. They got in there immediately. They either cut somebody off or invested immediately and forced them to back off. There were some fights that they took without having to really kill any more than a single person to flip the point over. So it's really impressive overall by them. Obviously, same situation here with these squads. Oh, that's crazy.
Well, Hunter, we're going to get Circuit Royale. That's the map we want to see because we looked at it as saying, like, hey, hit scans is a really good map for them. They should be able to really show us a lot. Poke is still strong here, so it brings back out the Domina. Could bring back out the Sigma. Ramatra still an option. You could play Dive on this one, especially on second point. But it's going to be really, really fun to see it now. A couple of the players were maybe a little bit surprised that we came to this map. But I believe the lobby actually let the red team pick the map, and they did say Circuit Royale.
Yeah, I saw the CR pretty much immediately. I'm like, well, to be fair, I do want to see it really badly. Now, maybe the players don't want to see it. There's still some players that think that
Tizzy is begging not to play Domina.
Slep, sorry. Yeah. To be fair, seeing the Sigma, I'm a Sigma enjoyer myself. Love seeing Sigma out. Yeah, definitely difficult into the Domina in a lot of aspects. But again, I'm really excited to see how things play. Wait, are they actually doing this? they're actually doing this. I was gonna say,
I don't
hey,
blame
we're
'em.
not gonna see the Ryan comps anymore. Boy, I am mistaken.
We're going to see the Ryan comp at least for one fight here. If it doesn't, maybe one fight at the least. And then probably swap over to something else. But right now, you look over at the other side. Soji and Neuroshen's showing us both hit scans. But at this point, whenever you see Hanzo, you have to know it's just for sonar arrow and then swapping off. Soji, though, on this Widow, that is definitely a pick that I expect to see probably throughout this first point, maybe second point as well. But, I mean, I think Lep on this Wu Yang. Wu Yang has been a hero we've seen a lot here in South America. I feel like it's really starting to really start to rise in the meta as well. It's a really good poke support. You're able to kind of play back a little bit, control where that shot goes. A decent amount of healing as well. I feel like maybe one of the things that maybe one of the things that's really overlooked is just how much healing this Wu Yang can do. But right now, outside that Loft Tower showing us the BAP here again, I think for this map, great pick. I'm really liking what Red Team is showing us here. It's going to be more interesting to see what we see from Blue Team if this fails.
Yeah, it'd be exciting to see, because the moment they're on this thing, you're gonna see it in like 3, 2, 1. And there it is. They're gonna
What a
go
TP.
in-
What a TP.
He gets left. That's crazy. Oh, and now Oracle needs to try to not burn down as, yeah, easy left.
I
Insane.
can't believe that worked because the TP was 2 feet.
Yes.
But I mean, Left's gonna be able to come back up really quickly here, and you
Ooh.
already see Saxon Hill being taken out. I think right now you see Tizzy just charging straight into the back line. This composition is welcome Left to South America. This composition is already over for Blue Team.
Yeah, but they're going to go try to find one pin. Almost hedges on the Soji, but eventually that is going to cause that one to go. Honestly, I don't hate it. You're probably going to see the full-on swap to some other stuff. Tizzy probably going to go to the Domini as well.
Yep. Yep, and outside that, I mean, not a surprise. Double hit scan, though, coming out here from Blue Team. Neuroshin actually stuck on the Hanzo. Again, I didn't expect it to be that way, but, I mean, if they can land some shots on Hanzo, it opens up a lot for Red Team here, especially with how vulnerable some of these targets are on the Blue Team. But, again, it's going to be coming down to Tizzy here to really just control where this cart stops, as they already are trying to take some space back.
Yeah, definitely trying to, and obviously Widow's looking for each other to try to clear a little bit of this space out to get things going, but eventually Tizzy has to put themselves over on this point. Shield's right around the corner as they're going to be there with 2 meters remaining. Shield's up pretty aggressively to take a little bit more space, and it's going to increase those sightlines a little bit to work with, but eventually you're going to come up with something as Oracle gets the better of Soji, and now for Blue Squad, this opens up their hold right here, as unfortunately without Soji, I don't think you can push past this right now.
You really can, and Oracle finding that grapple shot right there is huge, but however, you do get a trade out there onto both Wu Yangs, but still, I think that still hurts Red Team here as they really need to fully fall back and wait for Left to come back into this game. Hurry, look at Red Team. You have the Panopticon, you have Amp, you have Dragons, you're not that far away from Visor and really Tidal Blast because of all the swaps coming out there. Yeah, Tizzy will have Panopticon and Artura will have their Amp Matrix. You don't have those other ones though, and the Neuroshin Dragons I think is gonna be the one that really opens up a lot here for Red Team.
Yep, Dragon gonna be going through to find a little bit of separation. Doesn't really do a whole lot there, but you have the Matrix alive for both sides. Achura gonna use theirs first and foremost. Everybody gonna try to pull that corner, but Diem gets blown up instead. Blue gonna start moving forward. Wants to take no prisoners. As Loft Tower lucky to be out of there alive. As the reset comes through, Neuroshin will go down with them as they're still hanging up in the room, but Lep just takes the staircase and is gonna reset again.
I was gonna say, you know, only the Dragons coming out there from Red Team. That's not the worst fight, considering you just saw 2 ultimates or an ultimate come out there from Blue Team. However, you did also use Panopticon. So now you're splitting ultimate with the Dragons and not find the value you're looking for. You're really now banking on Left and Loft Tower's ultimates to be able to open up a lot for you here. Visor are out now from Soji, so they know where everyone is on Blue Team. Oracle, well, gonna give the same thing over to their team, so everyone knows where everyone is at the moment.
Yeah, to be fair, I think a good thing to know at the end of the day. But now you have a Panopticon ready if you are Tizzy going into this fight right now. But Double Super Ultimate is going to make this really tough to survive. It's thrown out, cages over onto 2, and to be fair, it's 2 great targets as Left Tower going to be able to get this one barely out in time. Big stun on the DM is going to get their own title blast, though, to try to stay alive through it all. They're going to get burnt momentarily, but Tizzy is the one forced away from the rest of the squad as Saxonale, again, does have the ability to shut down this fight with the overclock. He's going to try to go for it, pushing bodies back. Eventually, Tizzy going to help finish off some bodies as poor Nourishing going to be finished off, and now a touch looks impossible.
Hey, remember when Tizzy said they didn't want to play the Domina? I think maybe Red Team should have agreed to that. Tizzy looked great on this Domina since they came out on it, but so has everyone else on this team here for the Blue Team, as Red Team won't even get to the first point. And I mean, again, Blue Team started off with, let's just say, the South American special. They're coming out with the Rhine comp that we saw the entirety of last map, with the Bastion, with the Sim, a terrible Sim TP, still somehow ends up working out for them. I mean, everything just went Blue Team's way right there. I mean, you could talk about Nourishing's Dragon really wanted to split up the Blue Team, but did not do that. Yeah, you got the slight split, but still, you didn't have the fall up there. You weren't able to really capitalize on the split. Blue Team did a good job just playing around it all. And now Red Team, I mean, Hunter, me and you have seen it in the past year. This is not already the map's over type thing, and you do see it because it is scrim code. Even if they do get past that golden box of victory, we will play if Blue Team is able to do it. All 3 points. DM is saying, hey, there it is. They don't want to see it anymore. Taking it this time. Heroes board changed my mind. But again, I think Blue Team, they looked really good there, and they've looked really good. This composition, this Blue Team, we saw the last map on New Junk City, looked really good. Red Team, it took them a little bit to get going before they started something. So I think, again, you didn't have that much time to get it all going. It seemed like everyone struggled out the gate. You need to be able to get it going a little bit faster here, or else you're gonna get rolled over. As both teams,
Are we gonna do this? What's gonna happen?
Oh no, are they gonna fight in the skybox?
Oh my god, they are. Because I mean, we see the doubles. Is it gonna happen? I mean, to be fair, this is typical Tizzy behavior. Let's keep this a buck right now. But we'll see. This is gonna be funny if so.
DM is in the air, and it looks like Hades is hovering over Tizzy.
Oh wait, yeah. Hi, DM.
Oh wow, we are having a treat right now, Hunter.
This is gonna be something incredible. At the end of the day, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Teams are ready. They're gonna float out. We're getting the cinematic view of this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ultimate battle. They're sneaking. I think he might know. I can't lie.
You have to see the cat dragging someone. You have to. Wait, here we go. Hades taking Tizzy up.
Yeah, here we go. It's the battle of the century right here. The Rhines going at it in the battlefield.
Oh,
to cement their legacies as Hades goes down. Unfortunately, Tizzy is in no man's land.
But still, Blue Team could realistically end up winning this fight.
If Tizzy lives, yeah, 110% they could, but you still have Lep who's shooting at you from afar over on the jetpack cat, but eventually probably needs to focus on getting out alive. Is going to be cut down eventually by Lep of all people, and we end up getting to come through as Sojin get one of their own picks as well.
And I would expect Blue Team to make swaps right now. You already see Saxon making the swap. Tizzy, I would also... No, it's just Saxon making the swap here. Other than that, no one making the swap here. And I mean, I understand that players are having fun with it all, because, I mean, this is fun. I imagine the coaching staff is maybe a little bit frustrated, but hey, if it works, it works. Is Lep now just having to dodge around 2 different people shooting at them.
Yeah, rough thing to avoid ultimately, as we see, oh my god, there goes Tizzy again. Be thrown up to the high ground right here. He's going to try to find something. He's going to get pinned off of the tether right there, but Tizzy still lives.
And I mean, you do see Saxon now on the Pharaoh, which again, a lot of burst damage with Oracle shutting down Lep, and now DM has to kind of run for their life here as Loft Tower is the only one left alive. Blue Team going to be able to push through this choke point here right now. Again, golden box of victory is there. You have to remember, if Blue Team does get past it, they will just continue playing the map as is, and Loft Tower are going to be able to trade out the cats.
Yeah, and Soji, again, another big shot here. He's going to shut down this one once again. The question is, oh my god, big shot again. Absolute insanity, by the way, as, yeah, eventually Norshin gonna help with the finish right there. And again, I was talking about this is gonna open up the door for some players right here. Shoji has looked really good on this defense, despite the chaos.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, we can go back to the first 2 maps that Soji played, where they were doing a really good job on the hit scan. These last couple maps, they've been playing the flex.
What?
Oh, okay.
Solo wall? Okay, cool. Okay.
Shattering the back line, or the spawn.
You know what? Seen crazier things. Speaking of crazy things, Tizzy's pulled back up to the high ground right here as you see again, Lep is gonna cut down Saxon Hill, goes for the catnap, dies in the process. It is just pure pandemonium.
I don't know how much you're gonna be able to play.
Only so much. I mean, again, you still have your DPS chipping away, getting the good shots, so you gotta take what you can with it ultimately. But we do see Tizzy ready with the shatter, and oh my god,
Oh. They're going after. They're going after Soji, but Soji's running. Hades will die right there. Tizzy gonna die as well, and that cart gonna be stopped here again. There is honestly a good chance that red team still ends up winning this map here.
It's becoming a very real possibility unless Tizzy hits something big with this shatter, because they have a lot of ults in all fairness. But still, you have to find some effectiveness with it right now. As you see, Brian's hanging around. Oh, this might be a catnap, and DM, it was good. Potentially knowing you shatter is ready. He's gonna send it down, and Tizzy had to take a moment, recollect themselves, and go back into the next fight. You're still going to have the barrage in this fight, though, as Achura does end up going down, and Saxon Hill might have to go in and try to be a hero for their squad right here. Gets the direct over onto left. Barrage is ready as DM low. Neuroshin both low as well. As Soji's kind of just looking to try to take them out of the sky, and that would essentially end this one right here, as there goes Hades running in to try to take away some attention. Barely alive right here. Saxon Hill cut down on the spot, and somehow, some way, Soji is getting rid of more and more bodies. What a flick! It's just Tizzy hanging around, Oracle gone, and while they might be able to stall for a while, it's just not going to be enough.
It won't be enough, and red team ends up winning that one there, but like I said, DM type. Yeah, there's a lot of gaps in that one. But like I said, it's gonna be a little bit hard, I think, for the people who have to make this team to really look at that last map there as just being able to figure stuff out. But hey, the players had fun, so there's that. But I mean, again, a little bit awkward, I think, to talk about that map because of what it really was there. But still, I think you had a lot of good performances just throughout the night, because I imagine if we do play one more night, there are going to be players that swap in and out now, so we might be seeing some players for the last time. As actually, no, it looks like Nepal going to be the next map here. Tizzy and DM are the only ones swapping, so Tizzy going to be paired back up with Lep and Loft Tower, while DM going to be paired back up with Hades and Achura. You go back to, I believe it was Hollywood, where the last time you saw these compositions come out for those tanks with these support lines. Both of them had good showings, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. We'll see. We potentially, I don't know. We'll see. There's a couple things going on right now. We'll see what the situation is, but I don't know. I mean, we definitely have the people in here for this.
We'll figure it out here in a second. Yeah, we'll figure it out here in a moment if that was indeed our final map of the night. There are still 10 players in lobby, so I still do believe we might end up getting one more. I believe just one person is signing off for the night. We might still get one, but we're gonna still talk about it here. But Hunter, well, they're getting ours here potentially. But Hunter, let's just talk about what we've seen so far. I think we've seen a lot of good play from a lot of these players so far, not the ones that we have seen. Again, I feel like there's been maybe one or two that were on the list that was given to us, the ones that we kind of talked about, that we just haven't seen just yet. But again, there's multiple days of this. As we see in the lobby, this is day 2, apparently, of the tryouts here for Argentina. So there are probably players that are here for day 1 that weren't here for day 2. But I think we've seen a lot of good play. I think there's only been maybe a couple players that have had some struggles on some maps, but other than that, it's been really, really good performances from a lot of these players.
Yeah, no, 100%. We've seen some amazing performances here today, and obviously, with maybe this map being taken with maybe a modicum of seriousness more, we'll see. it'd be fascinating to see how these players are going to finish out, because again, despite how things went with that last map, I still think Soji had, I think, their best performance of the night so far. It looked really good on that instance right there. Obviously not too much to be able to take away from it given the situation, but it really is worth noting, because to be fair, no matter what the comp is, no matter how crazy it is, some of those headshots, chaos or not, they are impressive.
Yeah, very much here, but looks like coming out of the gate here, we do see what these two teams, again, Tizzy going back over to have Lep and Loft Tower. It's been a couple maps since they've been on the same team. DM going back over to Hayes and Achura, and Hayes and Achura have really looked like the better support line here of these last couple maps. Lep, we know how good of a player they are, but I think Hades has been doing a really good job on the Lucio here. Loft Tower, I think they've had some really good maps, maybe one round that they would like to forget about, but other than that, been really good. However, you look at here, DM going over to the Diva, Tizzy on the Junker Queen, and outside that, outside that, I would think you would almost expect to kind of see these lineups here for the most part. Saxon Hale might be sticking with the Sim here just for a TP out and then going over something like the Tracer, maybe the Echo that we see from Neuroshen. But other than that, Hades on the Wu Yang, Nashok, Achura. Again, seeing them not on the Lucio is a little weird, but you go back to that New Junk City map where they played the Baptiste, and that was probably the performance of the night for me so far.
Yeah, I think it's definitely really high up in that list right there. So we'll see. Obviously, as the Baptiste not going to be as effective in this situation. That's why I think we're seeing the Kirikos come back out with the Lucio, and Hades potentially staying over on that Wuyon that we've seen some glimpses of before. So here we go. Tizzy can be back over out on this Sigma as well. So we'll see how these teams are going to be able to finish out with the final map tonight.
And I like Tizzy going over to Sigma here again. At this point in particular, I feel like it's always looked at as a little bit more of a poke point. And Sigma, very, very strong at this point. Accretion does not get eaten up by Diva's defense matrix, so that's going to be able to slow them down a little bit here. As you already see Left getting harassed here, but it's actually Nero who finds Saxton.
Yeah, that's going to be big this early on right here. You kind of just see Tizzy was just kind of take the angle a little bit. DM's going to be able to get out alive, but the rest of the squad is kind of blowing up around them. Gets health back, so should be able to get out of here alive, but Red should be an easy, simple cat to get things started.
Yeah, and I mean, almost losing left to actually Nero started finding Saxon Hell out. That gets rid of a lot of that backline pressure that comes from that Tracer there for them, and DM just wasn't able to really keep up with it. A good job there by Red Team, and you already looked at Soji, 61% to an overclock. They have been good on these hit scans throughout the night, and I really want to see them have another good performance on this Soji. Nero, again, firing first pick.
Yeah, big early on here for Neuroshin. Good start, and you're just the knockout right there as well. Is Sissy going to help get the finishes? Again, Neuroshin with some good ones as well as Team Montage for Tizzy. Yeah, another just really good and really fast play.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, if you're blue team, you have to be talking about making some swaps here because your comp is not necessarily working into this. Like I said, I think this point in particular really works well for the Sigma. The other points struggles a little bit because of the openness of them. This one, the close corridors, the tight corridors really make Sigma's rocks just find so much value here. And you're looking at ultimates now coming online here for Red Team. Gonna be very difficult for blue team to even really engage in anything without throwing bodies at multiple people.
No, 100%. Now you have that grid of Flux coming into this next fight right now. You take some trades early on as well as Flux can be ready. He's going to catch on to two people and both not in good condition. Dim is going to get hit with that cleanse though, so won't take any damage from the exchange. But still, you've lost too many good people. Reset's going to come through as Tizzy going to get back up to full health as again, rough situation and final fight's online.
Final fight online here for blue team. Grando, you are coming up to 4 big ultimates. Hades though, because of the swap over from the Wu Yang to the Lucio, not going to have beat here. But, I mean, the only thing you really had to worry about was Flux. And, however, you do find Neuroshin out, who has been a constant problem for you early on in a lot of these fights.
Yeah, constant problem. And now Saxon L's going to have the initial touch over on this point. Obviously, overtime still needs to be triggered over as it will indeed do so. Beat going to be used here. Lep going to force everybody back. Saxon L, rough situation. His body's going to try to make their way on right here as 99% on the board. Shoji trying to show this one out. Bomb being thrown on the point as somehow Lep going to get caught out. So this is staying alive, but it's just Oracle and Achura kind to hang around in there. But it's just not going to happen. 100-0 gets the red team started here.
Yeah, a really good performance there by Red Team again. I'm looking at stats right now. Only 3 members of the team died. Tizzy and Loftower did a really good job of keeping themselves safe in a lot of those engagements, and the support line really was something that kept Tizzy in a lot of those engagements, even though they were the person frontlining a lot as the tank. Like I said, the Sigma I thought works great on that point in particular because the close quarters really allows Sigma to take up a lot of space and be able to push back space against the other team. And I think DM on the Diva could have worked, but you really need to get off to a fast start there. Again, before that first fight really broke out and Neuroshin got the first pick, Lep and Neuro were very low on health.
Good to go.
If you have those 2 picks swapped there where it's Lep falling first, you probably see blue team get control of the point first and probably never give it up, because you're just gonna have a lot of pressure coming out from that blue team and that composition there.
Right,
But again, good job by red team basically shutting down blue team time after time again. I'm more surprised here that we're not seeing blue team make some more swaps.
Your work is to be admired.
I'm a little bit as well. Obviously, we'll see how things change in this situation right here. As Tizzy, you wouldn't dare do that. But we'll see. To be fair, I don't mind that they're staying on this right now, because I think this could have a much better look going into this map. But Tizzy is out on the Malga, so this could be a lot more difficult, especially if DM can't manage that defense matrix well enough.
I mean, again, I think it's just more, you're putting more pressure on the DM here to be almost perfect with this Diva defense matrix, being able to fly in and out of fights. I mean, especially with how you're seeing red team already play. They're all playing as a unit while blue team split up, because this composition that blue team's playing kind of doesn't want to be necessarily grouped up. Red team, yeah, they're okay being grouped up. Blue team, they want to take these angles. They want to be able to find open space, but right now it's a struggle for them too.
Yeah, and that point's just going to cap right over, because obviously it's going to be hard for anybody to just walk right past Tizzy and try to get that cap. So you see some pressure being able to go on it already, but everyone already separated. Needs to eventually try to find a way to come together, but it's so rough in the situation to get your 5 all stacked together.
It's going to be hard. It really is. Blue team, you need something here. You need an early pick, but it's hard for you because everyone's playing around Tizzy, and Tizzy can just immediately turn around and just charge and stomp right back in.
Yeah, he's kind of low in the health department, though, right now, trying to get a little bit of carrots. This might be one of the better opportunities you've had so far to get in on this one, especially as Copy is right around the corner. If you're Saxon now, getting that first ultimate online will be big, but Lep has been so plentiful, but gets taken out early, so now you're beginning to open up here big time as Saxton Hill going to have a Copy ready to go. Still wants to try to burn down Tizzy. Might be forced to use the Copy because it doesn't go down anytime soon, but eventually will. Maybe a couple more stall outs coming through here right now as Saxton Hill gonna be just finished off at the end, but the cap will come through 55%. Again, Saxon Hill doing a really good job during that entire fight.
Yeah, really did a great job. And I think blue team just really played that fight smart. Again, like I said, this blue composition does want to try to play fast at times, but I think playing slow there, forcing stuff out from the other side for red team was the right move there. They forced out charge, they forced out a lot from red team without red team using any ultimates. And hey, you find left. Nice play there by Saxon Hale. You need someone for this blue team to get off to a good start in a lot of these fights. Saxon Hale might just be the person that needs to be that person finding the first pick consistently here.
Yeah, hoping to end on a really good note here tonight, and so far definitely is given that case right now. Has to hang back though, because he's now kind of being targeted and kept away from the fight entirely, and with that beat back online here for Lep, we're going to see Soji try to bring this fight to its end right now. Is going to get the cap over as they get rid of Saxon Hale, and Hades is going to let that beat loose within the 45. It's going to throw him directly back as a result. DM with the bomb ready to go. Could potentially use it more on the aggressive side over on the point to potentially cause a flip. But with these picks going back and forth already, it's becoming too uneven. And DM is going to use the bomb here to try to remech. Gets back in, but he's going to be lucky to get out of here alive.
Tizzy just running them straight down right there, gets the stomp, and DM, again, going to be able just to get out with their lives. However, the rest of blue team needs to quickly play for their lives. Saxon Hale find Neuroshin. This needs to be the moment blue team really just starts making their way towards point. They have the advantage, and you have at least a duplicate to your name here, while red team doesn't have anything.
110% now. You still have a Copy going to this fight as well. You've had it for a hot minute now. You could throw it directly over on Tizzy, and yeah, the Malga's going to be the case, and I think they're just going to try to get out of this situation right here. No reason to stay in any longer. You could see Saxon Hale going a little bit, but maybe in a little too deep and tries to stay alive. Unfortunately, it's going to go down. That opens up the door big time for Tizzy and this red squad to move in and try to close the second point out.
I am taking the objective.
That's the risk when you do that with the duplicate. If you get knocked out of it when you're in the backline for the enemy team, you might really struggle to get out there. Now blue teams have to play very smart here, getting touches until they have their entire team back.
Yeah, 100%, and Tizzy is just burning down body after body, beat to come through. Try to finish this second round off. Stop over onto Diem. We'll end this one, take this to our third and final point where Shrine is going to close out our evening. Oh,
I think Hades forgot we're playing all 3 points.
I think Hades may have lacked crucial information.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, another good round there by Red Team. Loft Tower and yeah, there's Hades. Yeah, they definitely forgot. Loft Tower and Tizzy only died once that map. Remember, they went into this map not dying at all, dying once there in the one lost team fight that blue team or red team had. Oh no, I accidentally hit the Xbox button. Oh no.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean you hit the Xbox button? What do you mean?
I hit the Xbox button on my controller, and it opened up. It tried to open up Game Pass. But again, red team's playing very smart here. Blue team's still kind of struggling with it seems, here. I mean, especially when you look at the stats. Tizzy, 11,000 damage. They go over to the Malga there. And again, Malga might not still be in the strongest spot that he's ever been. Granted, I don't think anyone ever wants him to be as strong as he was at one point. But you're just seeing the value that Tizzy's being able to get out of it. 11,000 healing and almost 6,500 mitigation there. I mean, you're looking at this DPS line, I think, up for blue team, and you really want to see a little bit more out of them. Saxon, Hale, they've had some good moments tonight. Same thing with Oracle, but they're just kind of being constantly shut down by Neuro, by Soji, who, again, in their own right, have been playing excellently throughout this entire night. And Neuro has only, I think there's only, what, their second or third map of the night? They've done a really good job now. Look at what we're seeing here from Tizzy. Going over to the Wrecking Ball. Still no changes at all from blue team. I would like to see some changes from blue team, as red team is not necessarily afraid. Well, Tizzy's the only one who's really changing for red team. But I would like to see some swaps.
Yeah, they seem pretty stuck in this situation right here. The only difference is Saxon Hill is back over on that Tracer instead, which, to be fair, the Echo honestly was working out really good, and Nourishing is now the one running it in this instance, and Lep just gets caught out early. So for blue, that's as good of a start as you can really hope for right there, but still, it doesn't mean that it's over. Nourishing going to get rid of Oracle, even out the fight. Tizzy's going to try to cause a lot of conflict here over on the point, take a bunch of attention away, open up the door for Soji to get in here and finish more bodies off, but it's Nourishing who's got their second of the fight, and DM just has to run for it. They have to surrender this point away more than likely.
Yeah, they're gonna have to give it up here. No reason for them to keep it contested up, because all that will happen is they will just consistently stagger themselves worse and worse. Red team gets first point. Nourishing off to a really good start here. Already about 60% away to their duplicate right now, and they're just doing a good job playing off angles, playing in the sky, making it difficult for Oracle and DM to really have a chance to just focus in on them. They're doing a good job on this Echo here. And again, Tizzy doing a good job on the ball, just being able to cause a lot of trouble as you see him pile drop down and hit 3.
Yeah, definitely trying to cause as much chaos as humanly possible, but still, that chaos means you still need to stay alive, as Tizzy is just having a good time right now, taking all this attention away, trying to cause chaos, eventually cleanse, forced out by Akira right there, as eventually forcing bodies out. Hades on the run, Oracle trying to get away, another big slam comes through as Soji more than happy to finish some bodies off one at a time right here. And Tizzy should be able to help clear this fight out once more as we're getting to that 50% marker. As DM gonna have to take a little bit of a reset here as Tizzy with their third of the fight.
Neuro using the duplicate here. Again, not gonna find the value you're truly looking for with it, but hey, you got it out there. You're gonna be able to build to another one here pretty quickly, but look at the rest of red team. You have mines ready to go, and outside that, it's a little bit of ways here for any ultimates. DM, Saxon, Hale, Achura should be able to get their ultimates out this fight, and this is a fight that blue team really needs here. They need to be able to punish red team, because look at how far up they're pushing themselves.
Yeah, mine's been thrown up here to throw everyone up in the thing, and somehow, some way, no one goes down to that. Very creative, all things considered, though, as you see separation over onto Hades. They're taken care of. You're going in with the bomb. Kitsune Rush, but still, I don't know if it's getting enough to pull this one back around. A second Kitsune Rush comes through. Gonna let go of that beat as it catches on to every single person around. Is trying to get this one finished up as you see that boom coming through right now. Body after body falling as Pulse Bomb comes out. Is going to help get rid of Soji, but unfortunately, this just isn't going to be enough. Overtime activated and bomb thrown out, but no remake to be found as Red is going to end the night strong as you possibly could.
Yeah, seeing GG's in the lobby right there, that has to make me assume, yeah, seeing a lot of GG's from players here, that probably is the last night here. And again, I think a lot of good nights here for a lot of these players. Some of these players, I think, had great nights as well. It's going to be really difficult here. Again, day 2 of tryouts, probably a couple more tryouts here to come for this Argentinian team, but I'm really impressed with a lot of the players that we saw here tonight. Like I said before, going into our final map of the night here, there were some players that were on the list that we talked about that we did not end up seeing here tonight. That doesn't mean they're not being considered anymore. It just means they probably weren't available here tonight and probably were available day 1, as like we're seeing here in lobby. This was day 2 of tryouts here in Argentina. But Hunter, I mean, again, I think me and you came into this night much like what we did with Team Chile. The nights that we did it, we covered them saying, hey, we know a couple of these players. We really want to see a lot of these other names. And some of those other names really did impress throughout the entire night.
Yeah, there was a ton of impressive names tonight. I'm really impressed by how much some of these players stepped up, especially as a lot of the especially as the night went on, which is honestly really nice to see because again, you saw that connection between like Tizzy and Lep improve as they played a little bit more together. I think Oracle, I mean, had a really strong start overall. Maybe got a little quieter as things went on, but was definitely a key player earlier on in this instance. Saxon Hale, someone who kept trying to heat up and definitely had a lot of really good moments as well. I think the biggest conversation, honestly, might end up being that backline as well, because I think everyone having good moments, but I feel like I want to see even more of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Lep, Loft Tower, Hades, Ashura really did show us a lot throughout this entire night. And again, you can go back to New Junk City, and I think that Ashura's BAP was incredible. Maybe the best performance we saw all night from any of the players. But then you look at some of the other maps after that, they kind of struggled a little bit. And you saw Lep and Loft Tower really turn back up their pressure and their consistent play on that support line. And I feel like that's always going to be the most difficult decision to make for these teams, is just picking the right support lines. Because, hey, you could have a lot of great support players, but you need to have the two that work best with each other. And well, the last 4 maps of the night, we saw these 4 supports basically, and they did not mix and match. They were Lep and Loft Tower and Hades and Ashura throughout the entirety of it. Again, I think that's really good to be doing that, because I think it means you're really locking down maybe on your lines. But it was really fun to see it as well there. Again, I think there's a lot of good performances here. I think maybe there's only 1 or 2 performances that players would like to forget about here, especially in certain rounds. But again, really good night here for Argentina in these tryouts.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's been a really good performance overall, and I'm excited to see where things go from here. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. But obviously, with that being the case, we'll see how things end up forming. I am, at the moment, unaware if there are going to be more trials for Team Argentina. I imagine you might have another day's worth, all things considered. So, obviously, we'll have to see in the near future what the situation is going to be. Hey, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Obviously, it's going to be a long week for us here. We're trying to obviously sell things a little bit, get it fully figured out what it is that we're going to be doing. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to be back at it tomorrow, as there's a couple of things going on. But obviously, I would just look out for social media and everything going on there, because, again, it's a really busy time of the year, and I'm so thankful that it's this busy.
Yeah, and again, like Hunter said, a lot of countries doing tryouts, a lot of countries doing show matches and scrims as well. I mean, it's going to be really fun over these next couple of weeks to watch these teams really develop them, because like we said here tonight, while tryouts are going on and there are show matches going on, there's still going to be tryouts for those countries. Like we saw with Costa Rica, they've been doing a couple show matches. They're having a tryout tomorrow. So there's a lot of stuff still going on for a lot of these countries. It's going to be really fun. Make sure you, like Hunter said, follow us on social media. Make sure you look around the scene, because there's going to be a lot more action going on. We already know that a couple of our other friends are doing stuff in EU and EMEA. We know Bolskunk is helping Ireland, I believe another country over there. Hunter, me and you are helping out Poland. I know I'll be doing Poland tomorrow with their scrim match against, I believe it's Portugal. So there's a lot of stuff going on, especially over these next couple of weeks as teams get finalized and finalized in quotation marks. There's going to be a lot more stuff being showcased.
Yeah, obviously really excited for it. Also, yeah, as we've already said, watch out for social media. Obviously, we're going to be at it throughout the week for all these countries, as many as we possibly can. This is an absolute honor to be able to do so. And hey, I'm just excited to be here. But for all you that came out tonight, obviously thank y'all very much. Have yourself a good night, and hopefully we'll see you later this week for some more Overwatch World Cup action. Take care.